Polish racer Krzysztof Kasperzak topped the rostrum in Latvia as winner of round 8 of this year's Speedway World Championship. It had been a tough weekend for the race organisers and riders alike as they all endured a last-minute change of venue from Riga to Daugavpils due to the torrential rain in the capital, making racing impossible. The Daugavpils track provided plenty of unpredictability, with many of the riders struggling to find the setup. Current world champion Ty Woffenden, who led the series coming to Latvia, was one such rider, alongside medal hope Niels Christian Iversen. Fellow Danes Nicky Pedersen and Kenneth Pierre both had answers to the setup question, which helped them, alongside title contender Greg Hancock, progress to the final, where they joined Kasperzak. KK, nursing a damaged leg after his earlier clash with Harris in Heat 3, was led off the line in the final by Greg Hancock in blue. But Popular Pole in white soon powered his way past the American to overtake him on the first lap, and a lead that he held until the checkered flag.
I started really bad because big crash and broken thumb, but I'm concentrate, change the bike, and bike's very setup working very good, and I'm fast and I'm the job.
America's Greg Hancock arrived in Latvia 3 points behind World Championship leader Ty Woffenden and left 5 points ahead of the 24-year-old. Significantly, Denmark's Nicky Pedersen was the big mover on the night, top scoring 18 points and moving ahead of his fellow countryman Niels Christian Iversen into the final medal position.
It boosts my confidence, and it boosts that I want to have more, So, but first of all, I need to look after myself, and get back into the business again, But I'm sure, if things working, then I can move even further up.
Whilst interest is firmly on the top spot with 4 rounds of the series left, the fight for automatic qualification for 2015 begins. Holder, Smolinski and Batchelor are all just outside the top 8, with Lindgren and Hampel sharing the 8th spot. The pressure's very much on to race well, score points and qualify.
The situation is tough. It's a lot of guys that are very close on the points, and I really need to climb the table. That's my aim, and it's really important for me to do it.
Well, it's really hard actually for me right now. Everyone wants to go good, and for me it's only one reason to go, to stay in the top 8 right now.
Hi there, and a very warm welcome to Gorzow and the FIM Speedway Grand Prix of Poland, round 9, and it's live from the Edward Janczak Stadium here at this magnificent venue. A good crowd, as we always get here in Gorzow, very partisan, very patriotic as well. But of course, there is a notable absentee or two here, including the world champion Ty Woffenden, who withdrew after practice yesterday here.
I went to see some specialists in Manchester, and they said it doesn't need an operation because the other 2 bones next to it are holding it in place. But if it was one of the outer bones, I would have had to have it played straight away. But I was pretty lucky in that aspect, and a little fracture on my right wrist. But that one's giving me a little bit of pain. But it's not really too bad. But the main issue is the hand, and just can't really hold on. I went out in the first practice session. It's rained a bit today, and track was probably as smooth and as slick as it's ever going to be, and I could get into the corner alright, but just coming out the corner, trying to pull on the handlebars to go down the straight, it was a bit of pain. And then I did the next lap, and I compensated and just relaxed my left hand completely, and just did everything with the right hand. And I thought to myself, like, what are you doing, you idiot? You're trying to ride a spear bike with one hand, and I've pulled out of the Grand Prix. I don't want to put myself or any other riders at risk, and I'll do everything I can to be fit for Voyens.
And everybody wishes the reigning champion all the very best, of course. Hancock on 103, the leader now. Ty Woffenden on 98, so a 5-point gap for Greg Hancock. Kelvin Tatum alongside me. Kelvin, you do feel that with the absence of Woffenden and the suspended Darcy Ward, a real opportunity now for Greg Hancock to almost put one hand on the World Championship trophy.
Yeah, he's in the driving seat. He's been remarkably consistent throughout the season, and after the last round in Daugavpils, getting the 5-point lead, but we couldn't have foreseen the injury to Woffenden. So yeah, right now 103, but effectively that's a 17-point lead in the championship. You can see Woffenden slipping down the table after tonight. He'll be working furiously hard, of course, to try and get himself ready for Voyens in 2 weeks' time.
Riders on the way out then for the first race. We have 5 Gorzow riders here in this meeting tonight because of the absence of Woffenden and Ward. We have Adrian Seifer coming in as a replacement for Ty Woffenden, the first reserve called in. Bartosz Marszlik is the wild card. He's out here in the first race of the night as well. So 5 Gorzow riders, no wonder there's such a big crowd here, Kel.
Super turnout, which is delightful. Bartosz Schmarzlik, they're just having a few last-minute adjustments to his equipment, but Niels Christian Iversen, also a big home favourite, he's out in Heat 1 as well.
There we go in the first race of the night. Chris Older off the inside in red, the 2012 world champion. Niels Christian Iversen, a firm favourite with the Gorzow fans. Andreas Johnson, gate 3 in white from Sweden. Bartosz Schmarzlik, Gorzow youngster, going off the outside in yellow, the wild card. Former England world champion speedway skipper Calvin Tatum alongside me here in the commentary box in Gorzow tonight. Always enjoy coming here. Track always provides great racing, Kel.
Yeah, it's always super speedway here. Hampel looking on. Kasper Zak, a favourite for this evening's meeting, also Keatley looking on. Plenty of track preparation going on today. Holder on the inside, likes his place, second last year. Good opening race.
Here we go. First race of the night here. Yes, Christine from Denmark. Down the tree. And then away first time at asking. Holder's made a good start there. Watch out for Schmarzlik around the outside. It's all bunched up. Iversen picks up the inside. And Holder gets the track of now Schmarzlik. And the place goes wild already. This stadium is erupting. The youngster Bartosz Schmarzlik in the yellow helmet colour has got the lead. Chris Holder holds second place. Niels Christian Iversen is third, trying that inside line. Johnson at the back. But what a moment. Schmarzlik spotted the opportunity beautifully.
Fabulous move there for Schmarzlik, the wild card, the home crowd on their feet. Really enjoying the youngster out in front. Fabulous move coming out of the first corner. Iversen now through in the second place, but Holder made the start initially. Now relegated to third place. Schmarzlik out in front. A smashing start for the youngster. Looks like he's going to pick a big 3 points.
Well, no wonder the crowd are on the feet here. The Polish flags are flying high. The Gorzow colours are flying high. If this were a team meeting, it would be a 5-1 to Gorzow. Because it's Bartosz Schmarzlik, the youngster, that can now bring it home. A fairy tale start from Bartosz Schmarzlik, the local hero. Punches the air in delight. Finished on the rostrum here a couple of years ago on his debut in the Grand Prix as a wild card. And it's a wonderful start from Bartosz Schmarzlik, showing plenty of knowledge of the track there, but also using his head superbly to pick his moment down that back straight. Can't wait to see that again, Kel.
Schmarzlik really setting the place alive in Heat 1.
Yep, Schmarzlik the race winner then, with Niels Christian Iversen second, Chris Holder was third, and Andreas Johnson at the back. But what about Schmarzlik? What a way to open up this meeting tonight.
Yeah, initially it was all about Holder from the inside, and he makes a great start. Schmarzlik here squares the corner off. Look at how on earth this just opens up a treat for him down the back straight. Fantastic move there from the youngster, and he fires himself to the front. And that's where he stays. Holder running wide down in turns 3 and 4, and Iversen there hugging the inside. Eventually does actually get the better of the Australian. Gets himself up into second place. Holder having to come out of the throttle there momentarily to allow the Danish rider through. But what a start for the home crowd and the wild card this evening. As you rightly said, Nige, a couple of years ago, made the rostrum. Fantastic start for him.
Bartosz Schmarzlik, who delighted the home fans by attending the autograph session a little bit earlier. Hugely popular, and as soon as he took to the track, he really did get a fantastic reception. Now, Greg Hancock, man in yellow, leads the World Championship on 103 points. Nicky Pedersen is third on 86. Nicky riding just over a week since suffering a double dislocation of the shoulder. No Ty Woofenden tonight, remember, if you have just joined us. And we see Hancock in yellow with a real opportunity to kick on here tonight. And as one of the fastest starters in the world of Speedway as well, you have to fancy him to pile up the points again here tonight.
A very good opportunity for Greg. You know, he's been in fine form. He looked fantastic yesterday, completed all the practice sessions. He comes from the outside, but his starting prowess this year has just been extraordinary.
Here we go, heat number 2, Martin Smolinski off the inside. He's got a lot of support as well from a German contingent here tonight. Kenneth Bierhoff, gate 2 in blue, Nicky Pedersen, gate 3 white, Greg Hancock going off the outside in yellow. Team Pedersen, Team Hancock, watching on from the pits area here in the Edward Jansart Stadium. Edward Jansart, former Wimbledon Dodge rider, much like the man alongside the commentator. Heat number 2, it is then here. inside, but Hancock has got the drive going into turn 3. Super ride from Greg Hancock. That is brilliant from the American. Now Pedersen's going to try the inside line. He's a former Gorzow rider, Nicky Pedersen. Third is Kenneth Pierre, and at the back is Martin Smolinski. But this once again is superb from Greg Herbie Hancock.
Fabulous first corner there from Hancock. I thought he was vulnerable because Pedersen made the start initially. He was gate 3, but it was the two boys, gates 3 and 4, that they have now hit the front. Hancock once again, so good, so super form once again this season. Looks like he's got the race well and truly under control. Pierre in third, the German Smolinski's out the back, that's disappointment. But Hancock looking every inch like he could well be world champion this year, riding brilliantly out in front.
He looks so super smooth. Greg Hancock is on his way to open up with a victory here in Gorzow tonight. He won't worry about the fact that there's riders carrying injuries here, and of course his main rival is out. He'll just focus on his own sport tonight, his own racing, and just get his head down, do his job, and that's exactly what he's done there in heat number 2. He had to do it the hard way early on, because Nicky Pedersen pushed him hard, as you said there, Kel, but that was truly magnificent from Greg Hancock. Looking good for him. 3 rounds to go after tonight. It really is just a question of what size lead Greg Hancock will have going into Voyens in a fortnight's time. Hancock from Pedersen, from Kenneth Pierre in third place there. Martin Smolinski trailed him at the back, but great start from Greg Hancock.
Yeah, fabulous. It was nip and tuck initially because Pedersen makes a really good start out of gate 3. He gets the better of the other 4 riders, but Hancock trusts his equipment here and trusts that Pedersen won't slam the door shut. And Pierre around the inside gets himself just momentarily to the front, but hasn't got the momentum as they go roaring down the back straight. Nicky Pedersen then makes that move, desperately trying to get back up the inside, but Hancock's a wily old character and he knew and read that move brilliantly. Later on in the race, Pierre does close in on the 3-time world champion Nicky Pedersen, but the silky smooth style of Hancock out in front, dominating his first ride, enjoying a wonderful season. It stretches his lead in the World Championship.
No doubt he would be such a popular world champion, just like he was in 2011. Last time he won in that big gap, 1997 up to 2011, when he won the world title. Could it be his year again in 2014? Nicky Pedersen, 3 times world champion. There'll be concern about that shoulder, I'm sure, but right now, talking more about the track and the bike setup with John Jorgensen.
Yeah, Johnny Jorgensen back in the pits. Spoke to him briefly before the meeting started. He was only going to do a one-off in Daugavpils, but it looks like he's been brought back in for the remainder of the series. And although his son is riding today in a 14th tournament back in Denmark, Nicky's obviously persuaded John to join him for the rest of the season, and so far it's working a treat. But Nicky, yes, suffering a little bit with that shoulder, certainly.
Chris Harris of Great Britain off the inside in red, with Troy Batchelor going off gate 2 in blue from Australia. Adrian Siefer from Poland off gate 3 white, the replacement here for Ty Wolfenden, and Matti Zagar going off the outside in the yellow helmet colour. Zagar, a Gorzow rider as well, might be saying the lineup here today. Siefer alongside him, his teammate. Heat number 3. It's Gorzow FIM Speedway Grand Prix of Poland, and Batchelor's made a good one off too, and they're getting square in that first turn, but here's Zagar around the outside. Harris has made a good one, but Zagar's got the drop. Chris Harris holds second place, Siefer is third now, Batchelor's gone to the back, which we leave, but Matti Zagar, the Slovenian, has that lead now. Harris second, and Batchelor's come through into third.
Yeah, super of a swoop round the first corner there for Matti Zagar. You would expect that. You've got to say that initially it was real handlebar to handlebar, elbow stuff coming off of gates 1 and 2 between Batchelor and Harris. Batchelor, after his disappointing first corner, has worked hard to get himself back into third with Adrian Siefer, the replacement for Wolfenden, now relegated to 4th. But Zagar stretching his legs out in front. A lap to go, he looks comfortable.
Yeah, Slovenian Matti Zagar has the advantage there and looking comfortable right now. Harris is under pressure from Troy Batchelor for that second spot. Batchelor, who rode well here in the World Cup for Australia 3 years ago, has gone wide and he's trying to get around the outside, and brings Harris to the line. The second spot, good speedway. Zagar missed all the front behind him. It's a good race there. Heat number 3. We'll get confirmation of the results shortly, but Matti Zagar,
good ride.
Fantastic ride, it was indeed.
Nice ride. The home team's riders rather enjoying a good night so far in their opening heats. Know the track inside out, got the bike set up spot on, and Zagar, who's been up and down this season, looked really impressive in Heat 3.
Harris getting second place then behind Zegar with Troy Batchelor third there. It was a real battle from Batchelor, but Harris hanging on for second, the Great Britain man, the only British rider in the lineup tonight, of course. The absence of the reigning world champion. But Matty Zegar, very, very quick there and won it quite comfortably in the end.
Yeah, he's coming from the outside gate, as did Hancock. He doesn't quite get there initially because it was a real battle between Batchelor and Harris, but that extra little bit of racing room as you come from the outside allows you to sweep around the outside. I thought for a moment Harris might be able to find a little bit of extra grip right on the inside and get himself up to the front, but it wasn't to be. Zago, as you rightly say, he misses all the fireworks that are going on behind him because Batchelor, who was relegated to 4th place at the early stages of the race, really does battle very hard here and very nearly gets himself up into 2nd place, but it's Harris that hangs on. But there's the silky smooth style of the super Slovenian is what is Matty Zegar, and he'll be pleased with 3 points after his first ride. Good stuff.
Absolutely good ride from Matty Zegar. Rides in the UK for the Bellevue Aces, whose management representatives are here. David Gordon, Chris Morton is here, George Carswell, along with Steve Casey and Ian Corcoran from the Aces, who of course are planning that National Speedway Stadium in the UK in Manchester. Heat number 4 coming up here. Michael Jensen is in here for Darcy Ward. Darcy Ward missing out through suspension after a failed alcohol test at Latvia a couple of weeks ago and under suspension pending a final verdict from the FIM. Heat number 4 is here now. Jarek Campbell going off the inside. Major disappointment this season, but won here last year in Gorzow. Freddie Lindgren of Sweden gained 2 in blue. Jensen gained 3 in white. Watch out for KK, Christoph Kasperzak off the outside.
Well, many's people's favourite for this evening's Grand Prix, KK, to make it back-to-back Grand Prix wins. Rides here, he's another home rider, plenty of them, 5, as Michael has said. Apple has been disappointing this season, and sit right, you know, there's no better rider on his day, and this is an opportunity. He's got very fond memories of Gorzow from the inside.
Here we go, heat number 4, and Hampel's made a beauty, but so has Kasperzak off the outside. Lindgren trying the inside line and did a bit of bench jacking. Hampel has the lead, here comes Kasperzak on the inside. Great speedway here, wheels away into turn 3. Oh, Kasperzak's taken it wide. That's a stunning swoop, and Hampel's gone to the back. Becoming all Grand Prix Speedway. KK was ruthless, took out Hampel, has the lead, with Jensen in second and Lindgren third.
Well, that really was a tough move there from Kasperzak because Hampel was racing hard into the bottom corner, and Kasperzak fired up. He's a home rider, really focused, and he took no prisoners there and shoved his compatriot wide, and Hampel got relegated to the back. Jensen nicely into 2nd place and Lindgren third, but Kasperzak, who looked really focused yesterday in practice, is out in front. He's winding it on the form from 2 weeks ago in Daugavpils, definitely to the 4 here. He's flying out in front.
He is getting a ball on here, all right. It's Christoph Kasperzak. What a ride from Kasperzak, picking up where he left off in Latvia. It was a tough ride, so much so that Hampel went from first to last. Kasperzak's gone straight back to the pits, but that was a breathtaking move from Christoph Kasperzak. Took out Hampel. 3 big points for KK.
Yeah, he meant business there. No prisoners taken on the opening lap, and Kasperzak, absolutely ruthless in Heat 4, picks up an impressive win.
Looking so good for Hampel, but Kasperzak, Jensen, Lindgren and Hampel was the finishing order there. Wins so far then after 4 heats for Hancock, Zegar, Kasperzak and Smarslik.
Yeah, that was a super ride from Kasperzak, totally focused. Got to feel a little bit for Hampel because we'll see it as they go into turns 3 and 4. Initially, Hampel makes a very good start from the inside. It's neck and neck between the 2 Polish riders as they go down the back straight with Lindgren on the inside, Jensen at the back. But this is the move. He comes charging up the inside. We'll see it hopefully now. Kasperzak on the inside of Hampel. Hampel gives him a bit of racing room, but then has to just literally run it wide in that bottom corner, and he gets relegated to the back. You can see there's a rider there lacking in confidence. No question he gave him too much respect down the back straight, needed to squeeze him up a bit. Then he gets run wide, and unfortunately for Jarek Hampel, gets shoved to the outside in turns 3 and 4, and that allows Jensen and Freddie Lindgren to come through into 2nd and 3rd. KK on the back wheel, celebration style. Very impressive opening ride from the pole.
Greg Hancock has an 8-point lead in the World Championship over Ty Woofenden, who will not add to his total tonight due to that broken bone in his hand. But, well, the Polish boys, what can we say, smartly keep number one. And then we've just seen Kasperzak in Heat 4, absolutely loving it out there, this Edmund Janssart Stadium track, very quick, and Kasperzak was absolutely flying there, Kelv.
Yeah, he's got a terrific bike set up this season, and apart from that sort of lull mid-season when he had that knee injury, he could well have been threatening for the world title this year.
Well, he led, didn't he? Going into Finland, he led the World Championship and then missed Finland with that
yeah, he had a good lead after a couple of rounds and was looking very, very strong indeed. But injuries, without question, has curtailed his performances this year. But just of late, seems to have regained his confidence. And Riga, Daugavpils, rather, he won in fine style. There was a great move on the opening lap.
Let's get some reaction to the opening 4 heats. Race winner and series leader Greg Hancock is with Chris Louis.
Well, Greg Hancock, it's an important meeting. It's a pivotal meeting in the season. You've got to take advantage of your nearest competitor's injuries and a fantastic start.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's another race, and points are points for us right now. And of course, for me, I just try to keep my head down and go keep taking points, get to that semifinal first. So a real shame. I absolutely feel for Ty at this stage. It's injuries are not a good thing, and this kind of thing that kid will come back double strong.
It's a long, tough season and a long, tough series, but it would take a lot of pressure off if you could extend that lead here tonight.
Well, you know, I mean, it's always nice to have a lead or have a cushion, but it doesn't matter. It could come down to the end anyway, so just got to keep my head down and go for it.
How's the track out there?
The track's riding okay. It's a little bit more slick to start with now, but I think as they get it turned over in a little water, it's going to be good.
Thanks, Greg.
You got it.
Yeah, they did do plenty of track preparation. I was surprised to see it as slick and as hard as it's actually turned out, because at 11 o'clock this morning it was about 10 foot deep everywhere. They'd ploughed it up well and truly, but they were able to roll it back in. A little bit of concern about weather here, but so far so good. Chris Holder there had a tough opening race. He's had a couple of second places here in Gorzow Nige and got a good record, but I just sense that Chris is gently feeling his way back into Grand Prix Speedway. He's suffered some serious injuries in the last couple of years.
Yeah, he has. He's been one of the most unlucky riders on the circuit, Chris Holder, no doubt, but he did finish second here last year here in Gorzow. But yeah, there was a slight concern about the weather, and as soon as we arrived at the stadium here about 3 hours ago, there were dark clouds all around the stadium. There was a bit of concern about potential rain, but the water cart is out, and
so no concern there.
No concern there. And we'll be back on with heat number 5 very shortly. Heat number 8 will be interesting because you've got a clash of 3 race winners from the opening 4 heats. Chris Louis is now with the wild card, Bartosz Szmajlik.
Bartosz, a fantastic race win in your first race. You're used to riding in the league here. How different is being in a Grand Prix here in Gorzow?
Yes, I'm very happy and win first heat. Maybe today good race for me. And yes, very big people, and I'm little stressed.
How important, how big a part can the local fans, the Gorzow fans and the Polish fans here play for you? How big a part will they play?
Yes, I'm very happy. Today race, yes, and yes.
Great stuff, good luck.
No, thanks.
Great effort in English from Bartosz, but when's his voice going to break?
Well, he'll be hoping fairly soon, because it's quite squeaky at this stage of his life. But I'll tell you what, he rides like a man, doesn't he?
He sounds like my 5-year-old kid. Brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant.
Great effort at English, though.
Great effort with Chris.
He's better at English than we are at Polish, Kelv, let's be fair.
That's for sure. I don't think there's any chance of that changing anytime soon either. Hancock 106, Woofenden 98, as we've said. He won't be able to add to that score. And Pedersen on 88. Pedersen is an outside chance with such a great return, but he's injured, so he'll be looking to desperately try and scrap for as many points as he possibly can. Christian Iversen and a home rider will be wanting to pick up plenty of points this evening. Just waiting now. We seem to be ready to go. The track's prepared. There's no equipment on it, so I'm sure we'll be on with the action fairly shortly. But a good opening 4 heats, 1 or 2 good rides, and We're now beginning to see the riders emerge for Heat 5, and that man who was dynamic in Heat 4, brilliant out in front, ruthless on the opening lap, looking for back-to-back heat wins.
Going to take some stopping tonight, Christoph Kasperzak. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Chris Holder here, the man in blue. Harry White is Martin Smolinski, and that win in New Zealand such a long time ago now, and the sparkle in Smolinski's Grand Prix campaign well and truly gone out. He's now down in 11th place.
I just wonder whether the lack of competitive racing has taken it, made its mark, because he hasn't been riding in any of the major leagues around Europe, and made the decision just to focus entirely on the Grand Prix series. I just sense that maybe he's will have to review that decision, because you need to be racing against the best in the world to really get yourself up to speed.
I know he does a lot of grass track, long track on the continent, but that's not busy enough, is it? Really, that's not enough to keep you busy.
It's not the same sport either, and it's difficult to really compare the two. So, yeah, he's going to have to come up with a really big performance here this evening.
Here we go then, heat number 5 is coming up. Here's your lineup for Heat 5 then. This man is going to take some stopping on the inside. Christoph Kasperzak, Chris Holder goes off 2. Martin Smolinski, gate 3 in white. Adrian Sefer goes off gate number 3 in gate number 4 in yellow here. The local lad. And heat number 5 it is. It's a speedway mad town, this Gorzow. It really is. They absolutely love their speedway here. Heat number 5. Now, Kasperzak has made a good gate off the inside. Sefer is there around the outside. Can you believe this? The boy who's come in here this evening as a reserve ride. Sefer has the lead. Kasperzak is alongside him. Kasperzak's going to take him out. Holder battling for second now on the inside. Sefer has backed up. Oh, that's a crawl blow for the youngster. And it's pulled onto the infield. But Christoph Kasperzak looking so smooth here. Holder is second, Smolinski is third. But it's crawl up on the youngster.
Yeah, that was a bitter blow. I've got to say, Holder looks really fired up in second place. He's putting Kasperzak under a lot of pressure. And the Holder now, after a disappointing opening ride where he finished third, looks like he's really means business in second place. Kasperzak had to work very hard on the opening lap to get the better of the youngster Adrian Sefer, but his bike's giving up the ghost. But it's Kasperzak, Heat 5, he won impressively in Heat 4. He's looking good for another win in Heat 5.
Yeah, Kasperzak absolutely moving here, big time. And he's going to take the checkered flag for a second time. 6 points out of 6 for Christoph Kasperzak. Great stuff from him. Chris Holder in second. Third was Martin Smolinski, and Adrian Sefer. Heartbreak for him. He was in a great position there and pulled up with bike problems. The youngster, you have to feel for him there. It was tough.
Yeah.
But he made a fantastic impression early on. But Christoph Kasperzak is a man on a mission here. Heat 5. Kasperzak the winner. Holder was second. Martin Smolinski was third there, gets his first point on the board. And it does mean now that Kasperzak is the clear leader with 6 points out of a possible 6. Holder on to 3 points now. And a great ride from him.
Yeah.
Local hero as well.
Yeah, it was. I don't think he was completely convinced at the end of it, because Holder was really pushing him very hard, and he won the race, and that was all important. It's nip and tuck initially from the inside. He gets there, and it's the youngster Adrian Sefer there that puts him under a lot of pressure. I thought for a moment the youngster was going to get the better of Kasperzak as they go roaring down the back straight, but once again, Kasperzak, very similar to his opening ride, was up the inside, and Adrian Sefer there, the bike just gives up the ghost on the opening lap, and he's clearly, and rightly so, very disappointed and frustrated. Holder then gets in on the act, comes charging up the inside and gets the better of Smolinski and settles nicely for second place, and a steady start for the former world champion Holder this evening, moving on to 3 points. But 6 out of 6, he's within touching distance after 2 rides of the semi-final. He's got another gate 1 coming up in his next ride.
Yeah, Kasperzak 5th in the World Championship standings before tonight. Led the World Championship before Finland, which he had to miss with knee ligament damage. Still suffered a minor injury in that crash with Chris Harris in Latvia. The fact that both of those boys got up was a miracle in itself.
Yeah.
Nicky Pedersen now on 88. Iverson on 83. Kasperzak looking to break into the top 4 perhaps tonight, but here is Niels Christian Iversen in the white helmet colour, got a 3rd place in his opening ride. Heat 8 will be interesting as well. Smarslik, Hancock and Zagar, all winners in their first ride. That's Heat 8, but this is Heat number 6. Here's the lineup. Freddie Lindgren off the inside, fighting for a place in the top 8. A reminder, if you finish in the top 8, you are guaranteed a place in the GP next year. Chris Harris, gate number 2 in blue. Niels Christian Iversen, gate 3 in white. And going off the outside is Nicky Pedersen, riding through the pain barrier. Has had a week of treatment, intensive treatment, on the shoulder injury that he suffered last week.
Yeah, and he's done remarkably well because it was a double dislocation. I don't quite know exactly what that means, but it sounds very uncomfortable. I'm sure it is. It's all strapped up, and he's had intensive physiotherapy, and he's here, rearing to go. He looked pretty impressive in his opening ride.
Heat number 6 it is then here in Gorzow, and Pedersen's made a good one off gate 4. Wow, how's he managed that? Lindgren has the lead early on, and Lindgren has lost control a little bit and closed the door, but Pedersen has gone for the gap now, and he makes it look so easy. He almost used brakes, and Iversen coming through. What a move, and Pedersen's gone back. Get out of the way, and now Lindgren, and now Pedersen. Oh my goodness, you can't take your eyes off this.
Fabulous speedway here. Nicky Pedersen going from first to second to first again. Iversen was momentarily in the lead and then got relegated to third. Iversen now pushing hard to get the better of Freddie Lindgren, who's there desperately working hard, overtime in second place. What a fabulous ride from Nicky Pedersen. Injured coming into tonight's meeting, you wouldn't believe it. He's riding like he's absolutely in tip-top physical condition, flying out in front. Iversen's not out of this either, really pushing in hard in third place.
Great stuff here. Nicky Pedersen has the lead. Freddie Lindgren of Sweden is second. Niels Christian Iversen is third, and Pedersen gets the points. Super stuff there. That was really hard fought early on. Lindgren getting second place. Iversen has to settle for a point. Harris at the back. But my goodness, there is no braver rider than Nicky Pedersen. He is pure theatre, and what a ride that was from Nicky to win heat number 6 and put 3 more points on the board. He earned that, spotted the gap, and if there was bikes on these machines, he'd have used it. The brakes on the machine, he would have used that. But there's no brakes on speedway bikes. Just had to get off the gas and pick his moment. That's
Brilliant.
Exactly what he did. Pedersen, Lindgren, Iversen and Harris. And this is what it means now overall. It means that Nicky is on 5 points, a point behind Kasperzak. Lindgren on 3, Iversen on 3 as well. But Kelvin, that was some speedway race.
Yeah, that was super stuff, and Nicky Pedersen deserves all the plaudits. Clearly suffering with that shoulder, but he's not suffering when the green light comes on, because he was racing for his life here. He comes from the outside, makes an excellent start initially. He's comfortably in front as he hits the first corner. He rides in the middle of the track, but it's Freddie Lindgren right around the inside that gets the better of it, but hasn't got the momentum down the back straight, and Pedersen able to chop to the inside and gets himself back to the front. He doesn't stay there very long because Iversen then gets his moment of glory. He momentarily hits the front, but Pedersen once again responds supremely well and is able to get back into the lead, and then Lindgren gets back into the action. It really was an exciting opening lap of speedway. You wouldn't see a better one anywhere, but it's the 3-time world champion Pedersen suffering with that shoulder injury that picks up a useful win and moves on to 5 points. That was a terrific effort when you consider he isn't fully fit.
Great stuff from Nicky Pedersen then. Heat number 7 is coming next, and Jarek Hampel looking to bounce back after the disappointment of his opening ride. In fact, all 4 of these riders now looking for big points to get their Grand Prix back on track here tonight. Of course, it is all about the top 8 to get into the semi-finals this evening. It's all about finishing in the top 8 in the overall standings to book your place in the 2015 Grand Prix Series. Here we go. Heat number 7. Off the inside is Troy Batchelor of Australia. Jarek Hampel goes off gate number 2 in blue. Kenneth Pierre, gate 3 in white. Had a good meeting in Latvia a couple of weeks ago. And AJ Andreas Jonsson off the outside in yellow. Big race then for all 4 riders, needing points even at this early stage of the meeting. And Hampel's made a beauty off gate number 2. The red lights are on. Jesper Steentoft has put the red lights on straight away. Unsatisfactory start, I'm sure. Interesting to see what the problem was there.
Didn't see too much wrong with it, but maybe Hampel was rolling and he gained an advantage. We'll now get the delay because riders will do all sorts of work on the bike. See it again. Green light comes on shortly. We'll see the riders' helmets move to the left and to the right. Now the green light's on. A little bit of movement on the inside, unnecessarily brought back because it's Bachelor that moves last and actually penalises himself. Just see him move there momentarily, but he misses the start in effect, so slightly unfortunate. Bit of reaction in the crowd about something, but it will be an all-four back, but an unnecessarily delay.
Yeah, I think that's a reaction of the crowd about the decision to pull the race back there. They saw the replays on the big screens here, big giant screens at the far end of each end of this stadium here at the Edward Jansard Stadium in Gorzow.
Yeah, it was Bachelor, wasn't it, who just moved on the inside, but often riders that sort of are nervous on the start line actually end up penalising themselves. And yeah, you wouldn't necessarily have needed to have actually had that race restarted, and we've now got this delay where riders need to be refueled and change readjusted, tyres changed, a proper curbside motors going over there by the by the pit gate. But really and truly, riders could actually go straight back round to the gate.
Really?
Yeah, they could. Yeah.
You've never made that point before. This has been a season-long.
I'm labouring it, aren't I?
Season-long point that you've made.
It irritates me.
I do agree with you, by the way. But as a former rider, you're more qualified than me to comment on that.
Yeah,
you're more
bikes are under more stress these days. I appreciate that, but they are capable of doing two starts.
Okay, heat number 7 coming up then. Second time of asking, and a lot of pressure on all 4 riders then for the points. A reminder, the next round of the Grand Prix series is back at Voyens. We didn't go there last year, but Voyens Speedway Centre in Denmark. And looking forward to the trip there in a couple of weeks' time. Then we move on to Stockholm in the magnificent Friends Arena, and we're back in Poland in mid-October for the final round of the World Championship. And Torun, what a fantastic speedway venue that is as well. Will the world title be decided in Torun, or will it be wrapped up before then?
Could well be wrapped up before then, with Hancock riding so well and his nearest competitors dropping out. We'll have to wait and see. An opportunity now, second time of asking here for all 4 riders to get themselves well and truly ensconced in this meeting. Pressure really on Jarek Hampel, of course, the home rider. 2 Grand Prix left this year in his home country, this one and Torun, as you just rightly mentioned, Nige. And Hampel must be now looking at those as to sort of bail himself out after a disappointing campaign.
Bachelor off the inside, Hampel goes off gate 2, Kenneth Bier gate 3, and Andreas Jonsson off the outside. Hampel had made a great start there. That's why the boos were from the crowd when the red lights came on and they saw the replays on the big screens here in this magnificent stadium in Gorzow. Daugavpils, Hampel only scored 4. Cardiff, he scored 5 points. So not ideal. Needs to get points on the board here. And a little bit of movement at the start again there. And the red light is on immediately for the second time. Another stoppage here.
Am I going to resist?
And the pit gate is open. Go on, boys, head back to the pits.
Can you believe it?
Well, there was definite movement. We are hearing again. It's going to be all 4 riders back for the restart. Here we go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and that one I can understand it more so because it was a much more definitive move from Jonsson and Bier on the outside. But you can talk about it this time, Nige.
Is this
those
pressure?
Bikes that are parked up over there by the pit gate when they should be actually roaring around the track?
Do you know, the riders even talk to you about it, don't they? You know, they say
do.
That this is a bugbear of yours.
It is, but two times on the spin. Hampel will be frustrated because he's got pressure on riding in front of this big audience in his home country. A winner here. He's a Grand Prix winner. He's a lot better than the form he's been showing over the last couple of Grand Prix at least, and he's had a disappointing time. Andreas Jonsson's another rider that's just not been able to put it together this year. Jonsson is a rider, a former world number 2 not that long ago, and is well outside the top 8. Looking
13th.
Like 13th, and that's very disappointing for him. A multiple Grand Prix winner, and just can't seem to get the consistency and the speed that he once had.
22 finals, 8 GP wins.
Well, there you go.
In 132 Grand Prix.
Very
Andreas Jonsson.
experienced campaigner now, but this year it hasn't. He had to have a pick, of course. Both the Swedes had to have a pick for this year's series, and you just wonder whether Andreas would be invited back if he missed the top 8 this year. Still waiting.
Top 8 guarantee entry into next year's GP.
Yep.
There's 3 qualifiers from the Grand Prix Challenge, which this year is in Lonigo, Italy. There's 4 to be selected from the organisers. And then there's 1 wild card per round. So that's the way it works if you are new to Grand Prix Speedway.
2 minutes is on night, so we're going to get riders making their way back round to the start. Yeah, they were just focusing on. He didn't practice yesterday. Has made a decision that he's not going to get himself involved on a Friday afternoon. It seemed to work for him previously, but he's had a disappointing campaign. Almost certainly won't make the top 8 this year. On his return to Grand Prix, he will be pretty disappointed with his performances so far this season. But I've said it before, Hampel is the one I would think most people are focusing on here. This is a race on paper he should win. He's got to come out of gate 2. This is the 3rd time of asking for heat number 7.
Well, you do feel as well that the suspension of Darcy Ward. Now, at the moment, it is a suspension with immediate effect pending the final verdict. So we cannot really speculate on what that might be, but perhaps the opportunity is there for the likes of Lindgren Holder to really pounce and get into the top 8 at the expense of Ward. We shall see. Batchelor goes off the inside in red. Jarek Hampel goes off gate 2 blue. Kenneth Pierre gate 3 white. Andreas Jonsson out off the outside in yellow, but you knew that anyway because that's the 3rd time that we've said it.
Yeah, it's the 3rd time of asking. Can you tell me again? I forgot. Just run through that. No, I know that Hampel's coming out of gate 2 because that's where I'm looking.
Yeah.
Batchelor, he's on the inside. He can ride this place well. World Cup just a few years ago. He had an
really
outstanding meeting, so he'll be looking to recapture that form. But let's just keep our fingers crossed that we get this race away.
Here we go. And we're away this time, no problem, and it's a good start from Troy Batchelor on the inside, and Hampel has been squeezed to the back. Batchelor has the lead, Pierre is second, Hampel now challenging for 3rd, here comes Pierre up the inside, Kenneth Pierre in white, the Dane, Batchelor from Australia in red, Jonsson having a go in yellow as well, and Pierre has that lead. Batchelor won't give up, but Hampel is trailing at the back.
Well, this time Hampel had to shut the throttle off and he got relegated to the back. 3rd time of asking. Hampel's the loser. Out in front, Pierre looking really good. 1 or 2 last-minute adjustments to the kit and it's working a treat. Batchelor working hard. I've got to say Jonsson's really there. He's going to get the better of Batchelor. Yeah, not quite. Really close coming out of turn 2 midway through the race. Yeah, fast in Daugavpils a couple of weeks ago. He looks really good here. It's a good ride from Kenneth Pierre.
Certainly is. Kenneth Pierre has that lead. Troy Batchelor second. 3rd is Andreas Jonsson, but Jonsson looks quicker than Batchelor. He's in 3rd place right now, and Hampel well and truly at the back, and no points from 2 rides for the world number 2. Pierre the winner then. Batchelor hangs on for that 2nd spot, and Hampel at the back. That is a shock start. Jarek Hampel, no points from 2 rides. Who would have thought that? And he'd made a good start in Heat 1, in his opening ride, I should say. He's made a good start in his 2nd outing, and that was pulled back. Maybe he's starting to think this is just not my night. Heat number 7. Pierre from Batchelor, from Jonsson, from Hampel. 7 heats gone here in the Edward Jansard Stadium tonight. And Kenneth Pierre moves on to 4 points now and is 3rd in the standings. And we see Hampel right at the bottom of the pile. Who would have thought that?
Well, that's a shock, and he'll be desperately disappointed with his meeting so far. But that man there, Pierre, 3rd time of asking, he gets the better of the other 3. It's all level pegging as they go around this first corner. Just about 3 abreast as they go through there, and it's Batchelor and Pierre. Great move down the inside. We've seen that once or twice. A similar move from Kasperzak, and it's paid dividends. He gets the inside run and then gets himself to the front. Jonsson works hard here because Jonsson is out of the picture at this stage, but he gets himself really amongst it and gets plenty of pressure on Troy Batchelor. But Kenneth Pierre was a good winner, and a hard charge in Andreas Jonsson in 3rd place, but once again not amongst the big points. Bitter disappointment for Jarek Hampel. Just had to shut the throttle off when he got to the first corner, and that killed his momentum and really put paid to any chances he had of picking up points. But 4 points from 2 rides for Pierre. He'll be pleased with that.
Yeah, Batchelor got stuck in there as well. 3 points to his name now for Batch. As Kelvin mentioned a short while ago, 2011 here in the Speedway World Cup, rode well for Australia. Troy Batchelor, we're up to heat number 8.
Yeah, it was an outstanding performance. We've seen an outstanding performance from him earlier this year. 20 points in Copenhagen, but he hasn't quite been able to reproduce that.
3 race winners go head-to-head here, plus Michael Jepsen Jensen, who
Second,
is
I think.
in for Darcy Ward. Here's your lineup then, with Bartosz Zmarzlik, Greg Hancock, Mate Zegar, and Michael Jepsen Jensen going off gate number 4. Michael looking very relaxed, with his father by his side a little bit earlier today in Gorzow. And heat number 8 it is. Can Hancock extend his lead in the World Championship? He's off gate number 2 here. Greg Hancock head down into that first turn. Smooth start from him. Jepsen Jensen in yellow around the outside. Oh, just can't quite keep the bike under control, and Hancock rides it quite smoothly. Now Jepsen Jensen comes around the outside. The Dane really charging hard and having a go on Greg Hancock. Third place right now is the man in red, Bartosz Zmarzlik, and Zegar is at the back, but Hancock kicking on.
Yeah, Hancock in the driving seat once again. Jepsen Jensen looks really fired up. Look at Zmarzlik pushing hard in third place. There's not a lot between these 3 riders out in front. Zegar a winner first time, and look at Zmarzlik. Zmarzlik up the inside of Jepsen Jensen, neck and neck down the back straight. Zmarzlik pushing really hard. The home crowd loving that. Jepsen Jensen running wide. Zmarzlik, can he get there? No, it's Jepsen Jensen that hangs on the second place. Meanwhile, out in front. Oh! Out of control. Zmarzlik gets in the second place. How did they avoid each other?
Greg Hancock is on his way to victory. He's missed all the drama behind him. 6 points out of 6. Greg Hancock of the USA. Second place in red there was Bartosz Zmarzlik. Jepsen Jensen was third with Zegar at the back. That was almost disaster behind Greg Hancock as riders lost control of the bike. But Greg Hancock has done his job brilliantly tonight. 2 rides, 2 wins, and looking good already for a place in the semi-finals here in Gorzow. What a performance. And now Greg Hancock leads the World Championship by 11 points. Hancock, Zmarzlik was second, third was Jepsen Jensen, Hancock and Kasperzak, the maximum men of Gorzow after 2 rides each.
Well, there was plenty of fireworks going on behind that man, wasn't there, at that time, with Hancock terrific once again. The starting we see, we're looking at Zegar and Jepsen Jensen, who played his part in this race, that's for sure. But here we see Hancock coming bursting into the screen, hugs that inside on the opening lap. Jepsen Jensen just lifted there momentarily, and that probably cost him a chance to get to the front because he definitely had momentum and speed. But Zmarzlik, fired up, full of confidence after winning Heat 1, gets right into the thick of the action, and later on in this race it really did set alight with all sorts of fireworks going on behind Greg Hancock, who was probably quite pleased. When he see the replays of that, he's quite pleased he's not involved in all of this because it really is breathtaking stuff. 2 youngsters there. We've got Zmarzlik coming in. He very nearly clipped the front of Michael Jepsen Jensen there. Zmarzlik clearly very fired up on his home turf here. His dad, his team in the pits, all local to this track, of course, a real crowd favourite. Good speedway. Hancock, 6 out of 6, stretching that lead in the World Championship.
Yep, 11 points it is. Nicky Pedersen on 91. Woffenden could well be relegated to third in the not-too-distant future. And Christoph Kasperzak is a man in form. He's speaking to our man, Chris Louis.
Christoph Kasperzak, winner in Daugavpils, and a perfect start tonight to your Grand Prix.
Yeah, everything working good. I get the engine from Sunday's stop in Leszno, but Peter make very good job, and again he's fast, and I feel okay.
And one of only 2 riders, along with Greg Hancock, to be using the golden tyre, seems to be working very well tonight.
Yeah, I like this tyre, and it's okay. Yeah, it works for somebody. No, everyone like this tyre, but we like.
You're a home rider here in Gorzow. The fans, are they playing a big part for you? You have plenty of support out there.
Yeah, many supporters, and even my mom coming today, and I feel that pressure, but every race coming down, and I think so soon will be better. Now it's really bit tough to me race with this pressure, but it's better and better.
Great stuff, well done. Thank you, Christoph.
Yeah, I fancied him for a win tonight, but he just mentioned it there. He has had an Achilles heel in the past with the pressure, particularly at home, getting the better of him. But he feels that he's coping with that pressure better and better, and that's been evident this season when he won in Bydgoszcz after a poor performance there last year where he failed to score. He won in fine style, but he's riding excellently again tonight, 6 out of 6.
Yep, Kenneth Pierre. Let's hear from him now with Chris Louis.
Kenneth, it's all about the race now for the top 8, 13 points behind that position. You must be feeling some pressure, but a great race so far.
My race has been okay, but my gating hasn't been working, and putting in a new clutch now, and hopefully I can get a bit more consistent starts. The bike doesn't really work with me off the starts, but hopefully it will be better next time.
You chose not to practice. You got a 3rd place in your first one, but a great battle with Troy Batcher in your second race and 3 points.
Feeling my speed is okay, you know. I just got to get out the start and be out the front in the first corner, and I'll be fine. You know, sometimes practice just confuses you, and hopefully it pays off for me today. I didn't practice.
That was interesting to hear you say that you get confused from practice, and most people would say it gives me a chance to do all the testing and make sure I pick the right setup.
I feel like you got to do all the testing before you get to the Grand Prix. You got to take the equipment you trust and the experience and the basic setups, I think. For me, you know, I'm just trying this now, and haven't really got much to lose. My season's been a bit up and down and too much down, so hopefully I can pick it up in the last few GPs.
Thanks, Kenneth.
All right, thank you.
Interesting that. I like that. It's he's made a decision.
Well,
Thomas Golub there, just a bit of a farewell tour he's on. I think the Grand Prix campaign, his career is now over. And terrific to see him here. Such a favourite, of course, for so long. Carried all the aspiration and hopes of a nation, didn't he? Won the World Championship back in 2010. Had some remarkable performances at times. Coming to the end of his time, but how much longer he'll go on for, we don't know. But it's been a pleasure to be around when he's been riding, because at times he's been out of the top draw.
Yeah, in some of the best races we've seen in Grand Prix Speedway have been Thomas Golub. He is telling the crowd here, by the way, that he will ride in the extra league here in Poland a little bit longer.
Okay, I'm sure they're pleased about that.
Yeah, Grand Prix day's over, of course. He has been with Torren. Speculation rife that he will not be with Torren much longer. He's a former Gorzow rider from Bydgoszcz and a true legend of the sport. Wants to do a bit more than Speedway.
Yeah, branching out into different forms of motorsport. The Paris-Dakar is an option for him. And as I say, I reiterate, he has been an absolute icon for the sport. He brought it to the fore. He had some wonderful performances. It lifted the nation. I can remember here in a World Cup, he absolutely did a fabulous performance and dragged the team back into contention with the Australians. It was one of the best World Cups we've witnessed. Won back-to-back races that night, and the place went absolutely bananas. Thomas Golub, a genuine hero.
He is. He's a national celebrity here in Poland. No doubt about that, Thomas Golub.
So, I think it took 20 years before he smiled at a Speedway event, Nigel, I think it was, but he's definitely loosened up since then. It's about the first time I've seen him really talk publicly to people. He was very withdrawn away from people, but no. Good to see him here.
Yep, very much so. And I do know Thomas has been doing a bit of work for our Polish colleagues, Polish TV colleagues. But anyway, heat number 9 coming up. Quite a lineup as well. Nicky Pedersen, Michael Jepsen-Jensen. What about that ride between Jepsen-Jensen and Smarslik? Two young guns really going for it. Fearless, Chris Holder and Troy Batchelor. So good-looking heat number 9. Not a bad meeting so far, Kel.
No, there's been some entertainment, that's for sure. Often is here. As we said at the top of the show, we see some good speedway here. It's beginning to warm up nicely. Nicky Pedersen's been involved in possibly one of the races of the night when the race lead changed 3 times on the opening lap. That was a great speedway race. Pressure on Chris Holder now. He's outside the top 8, the former world champion. He's had some bad injuries. Michael Jepsen-Jensen, a great opportunity for the young man. Hasn't been doing that much racing. Brief stint in England with the Coventry Bees, which appears to have come to an end now, but with the possibility of 3 more Grand Prix after this one, then maybe he will be focusing his attention on international speedway.
Yep, we have to emphasise that is a possibility, and that's all it is at this stage, depending on the FIM and the verdict that is passed on the suspended Darcy Ward. Hancock 109, Woofenden 98, not here tonight, Woofenden. Pedersen 91, Iversen 84, and how Nicky Pedersen would love to be second in the standings going back to Denmark in a couple of weeks' time and Voyenskelv.
Yeah, that would be exactly what he would be looking for. You know, he's had his injury problems, he's had some controversies this season as well. That clash with Zagar earlier this year in Melilla was quite extraordinary. He's not everybody's favourite, but you cannot fault his effort, and the team, the entourage he now comes with to a Grand Prix, he's got all the bases covered. Nicky Pedersen is battling hard, looking like he's going to get a medal.
Yep, here we go then. Heat number 9, riders ready. Let's get on with the action. Here we go, heat number 9, Nicky Pedersen has dropped just the 1 point so far. He's off the inside gate in red with Michael Jepsen Jensen in the thick of the action. Gate 2 in blue. Chris Holder, gate 3 in white. And Troy Batchelor going off the outside in the yellow helmet colour. Good lineup this one, Kelvin.
Yeah, it is. It's looking good. Jepsen Jensen's look pretty good tonight. Just made that half a mistake in his previous one coming out of the first corner, and he could have got the better of Greg Hancock there if he hadn't lifted at that. Just killed his momentum. The danger man, of course, is Pedersen on the inside. He's riding well. He's suffering a bit with the shoulder, but I think once the green light comes on, he's got the ability just to put that to the back of his mind. Holder, I still think, is building his confidence after injury dramas, but yeah, it is a competitive lineup. The two Danish riders, gates 1 and 2, could be quite interesting in the first corner.
Here we go, heat number 9. Take tries. Pedersen's made a good one, so has Jepsen Jensen, but Pedersen will take them wide and up the inside. That's a smart move from Chris Holder, and Jepsen Jensen's got speed, and Pedersen up the inside as well. What a great first lap of Speedway here, and this young man, Michael Jepsen Jensen, once again adding to his reputation. Batchelor's come through into third, and now he's challenging Pedersen as well.
Oh, brilliant move from Troy Batchelor. Pedersen responds, you know he's going to charge hard. Up the inside into turn 3, brilliant first corner from Jepsen Jensen. Oh, Holder comes charging up the inside of Pedersen, ruthlessly gets himself back amongst the points. Pedersen on 5 points prior to this race is out the back. Has he got anything more in his locker? But Jepsen Jensen has. He's flying out in front. Pedersen's backed up.
The lead is with Michael Jepsen Jensen, talented young Dane, surely now adding to his reputation and claims for a place in the Grand Prix Series next year. Pedersen looks towards the referee, not happy with Chris Holder. Be interesting to see the reaction here, but Jepsen Jensen wins it. Batchelor coming through into second, and Chris Holder in third place there. And Nicky Pedersen, well, quite clearly not too impressed by Chris Holder there, but anyway, that's the way it goes. The pit gate isn't open yet.
The pit gate, now the race is finished, is slammed shut. Anyway, they get off. Jepsen Jensen, brilliant this time.
Pedersen's going to come round and look at the referee here. Pedersen will come to the start line and he will look up towards the referee. So the result is Michael Jepsen Jensen, Troy Batchelor second, Chris Holder was third, and Pedersen pulled up there, but his bike hasn't actually packed up.
Looked like he gave up there,
yeah,
which is unusual for him.
Well, there you go. After 9 heats, we see Hancock, Kasperzak and Jepsen Jensen on 6 points apiece. And that was a super ride from him, Batchelor, Holder. It was all happening here.
Yeah, they were all in it. We built the race up, and there was one or two really good moves. Great first corner from Jepsen Jensen. This time he doesn't lift coming off the corner. The bike's under control. In his previous ride, he was in a very similar position when Hancock was on the inside, and he just lifted, and that killed his momentum. Then all the fireworks happened. Nicky Pedersen there into second place, but Troy Batchelor rides well here, and is able to get up the inside of the other two riders and gets himself into second place. And this is the clash here. Pedersen's pulled a big locker in the middle of the corner, and Holder's got really nowhere to go. And you know, there's no malice here. He's just had to run into the side of him. Pedersen then later on in the race sort of, I don't know whether there is an issue with the bike or not, but he certainly slows right down and fails to score. But Jepsen Jensen, with his father back with him, who has been suffering with throat cancer, has been very poorly. He's back with him, and Jepsen Jensen looks like he means business tonight. 6 points from 3 rides is a great return from him.
8 points in Copenhagen, 9 in Cardiff.
2 semi-finals.
Nicky Pedersen asking Tony Olsen to have a word with Jesper Steentoft, the referee. Won't make any difference. But
they can speak the same language, can't they?
They can indeed, but you can tell that Nicky was fuming with that. And Jesper Steentoft has got all 4 riders up at tapes here for heat number 10.
We'll see the move again. It's coming here. Nicky's just pulled a bit of a locker there, lost all his momentum, and Holder's nearly on the white line. So I don't think that Nicky's going to have much of an argument here. Holder's, got all his momentum. He hasn't moved off his line. There's been nothing significant there. I think it's got to be frustration from Pedersen.
So heat number 10 coming up. There's your lineup. Matti Zegar off the inside in red. Martin Smolinski goes off gate 2 in blue. Gate 3 in white is Jarek Hampel. 2 last places so far. And Niels Christian Iversen going off the outside in yellow here. Heat number 10 it is. Can Zegar bounce back from his previous disappointment? Can Hampel get his name on the scorecard? Can the Gorzow favourite Iversen do the business from the outside? And Hampel's missed the start completely again and has been left trailing at the back. It's Zegar with the lead. Iversen is second. Third place is Smolinski. And Hampel is at the back. It's 2 Gorzow riders who have the advantage here right now. And it's Zegar with the lead. Iversen lost control a little bit coming out of turn 4, but got the bike back under control.
Oh! Nearly got it under control, but a great response from Zegar. Poor ride previously where he failed to score, but he's bounced back nicely here. Iversen a little bit all over the place in second place, working overtime. You can just see the body language from Jarek Hampel. No confidence, absolutely none, and he's tailed off, not threatening at all for third place. You've got to say Zegar on the back wheels. A lap to go. Iversen's now right back in the thick of this. The Danish rider around the outside of Zegar, neck and neck down the back straight. Fabulous speedway from Iversen.
Big dive from Iversen into turn 3. Great speedway again in Gorzow. And Iversen gets the drop from Matti Zegar second, Martin Smolinski third, and Jarek Hampel, the man who went into the last round of the series last year as the only man that could stop Woofenden winning the world title, has now got 3 last places to his name. But Niels Christian Iversen taking advantage there with a big swoop around the outside of Matti Zegar and more super speedway.
Brilliant speedway there. Took the opportunity late on in the race when Zegar just lifted coming off a turn 4. Great last lap from Iversen.
Iversen the winner with Zegar second, Smolinski was third, and Hampel trailed in at the back there. This is what it means overall now. Iversen moves on to 6 points. But Kasperzak and Hancock above him have got a race in hand. Zegar is on to 5. The race is on for a place in the top 8 and the semi-finals here in Gorzow.
Well, we saw Zegar very relaxed in the hotel reception area before coming to tonight's meeting. Knows this place inside out, of course. Both these 2 boys battling for first and second ride here for Gorzow in the extra league in Poland. And we saw early on, Iversen looked like he really was struggling with the bike to really keep the momentum going, and it was Zegar that had it all under control. But later on in the race, it's Zegar lifting quite hard coming out of turn 4 that kills his momentum, and that allows then Iversen to pounce. That's there, just having to ride that lift out. It slows him momentarily, and Iversen, who was there ready to pounce, and pounce he did. He charged round the outside in turns 1 and 2 on the last lap and got himself to the front, and that just typifies the type of man he is. He's a never say die rider, always giving 100%, and it paid big dividends for him there.
Yeah, finally came of age, if you like, at the top level of the sport a couple of years ago. Dipped out of the GP, rode in the GP in 2008, and now a rider of 47 Grand Prix under his name, 3 wins, Niels Christian Iversen. Now the series leader Greg Hancock goes off the inside in red. Adrian Sifar, who goes off gate 2, packed up when leading his previous ride. Andreas Jonsson gate 3 in white from Sweden, and Freddie Lindgren is off the outside. A battle of the Swedes on the outside 2 gates. Can anybody stop? Greg Hancock is off the inside gate, 2 rides and 2 wins.
Well, he's red-hot favourite for this race. I think Jonsson's got some pace. He just needs to make a start, and he may well get himself to the front. If he does get himself to the front, rather, he could be hard to ped back, but he hasn't been able to get a clean run to the first corner, whereas the man on the inside Greg Hancock, well, he can make starts for fun.
And he's done it again, Hancock. Lindgren now is going to go high into the dirt and try and come around the outside. Freddie Lindgren in yellow, but Hancock doesn't leave any room. Hancock has the lead with Lindgren second. Sifa is third and he's charging down. Freddie Lindgren now. The man at the back in white is a disappointing Andreas Johnson, who's come through to take Sifa now for third place right now. But Greg Hancock, unstoppable here.
Once again, fabulous start from the championship leader, just hugging the inside. Lindgren desperately trying to work his way closer to the front man, but you've got to say it's textbook stuff once again from Greg Hancock. Absolutely brilliant out in front. Johnson got himself into third place. He got ahead of the replacement, Adrian Safer, with, got to say, Lindgren a little bit out of control in the bottom corner, but Hancock looking like he's going to move smoothly onto 9 points.
And that'll put him into the semi-finals already. And we're only up to heat number 11. Hancock looking brilliant. Can he score 21 points tonight and have a 26-point lead in the World Championship with 3 rounds to go? As it stands, it's 14 over Ty Woofenden now. He really is capitalising big time.
Fair
Greg
play.
Hancock of the USA.
Well, fair play to him. He's taking this opportunity. We spoke about it at the beginning of the programme, that this is a great time for him to try and really steal a march on the opposition, and so far he's doing it in fine style. Thought he might well go away with a 20-point lead here this evening, but it could well be more, like you just mentioned, Nigel, because he really is riding beautifully tonight.
Hancock the winner with Lindgren second, Johnson third, Sifa at the back, the youngster from Gorzow, of course. Hancock now the clear leader, 9 points from 3 rides, a maximum man so far. Kasper Zak, the other maximum man, he's going out in the next heat, but that was, once again, textbook from Greg Hancock.
Can only agree with that, because he makes starts for fun, and this is another one. Bike digs in and charges to the first corner. He hugs that inside. He doesn't feel like he needs to block the move from Freddie Lindgren around the outside. He trusts the bike will get enough speed off the inside coming off turn 2, and rides there pretty much throughout the race. Early doors, Lindgren chopping back to the inside, puts him under a little bit of pressure at the end of the first lap, but then Hancock just gently pulls away, stamping his authority on the race. Lap after lap, silky smooth out in front. 9 points to his name. Stretching his lead in the World Championship. It really is going the way of the American, but you've got to say he fully deserves it because he's so consistent at this level. Injury-free, of course, as well, which is no small part to his performance, but he's riding beautifully again.
Yeah, and that record, and I know we refer to it regularly, but that record of Greg Hancock actually appearing in every single Grand Prix in the competition's history, started back in 1995, 177 Grand Prix, and he's appeared in every single one. Well, it's an unbelievable story.
It is an unbelievable story when you consider the injuries that are around and how often riders have to miss Grand Prix. It really is an extraordinary achievement.
So, Kasper Zak going off the inside in red from Poland. Bartosz Marslik, gate 2 in blue, also from Poland. Gate 3 in white is Chris Harris. Going from the outside, Kenneth Pierre of Denmark. Now, can Kasper Zak keep up his unbeaten record? He's made a good start from the inside gate. Pierre off gate 4 has made a good one as well. At the inside though, the man in blue has got a bit of a rocky ride there, Bartosz Marslik, but Kenneth Pierre has that lead. And Christoph Kasper Zak holds second place. And coming through, battling hard for third here, is Chris Harris as well, but Marslik's just about got the drop. But Kenneth Pierre looking at his very best here.
Yeah, well, he said in that interview with Chris Louis that he needed to make some starts, and they put some new clutch plates in, and they played big dividends here because he made a terrific start from the outside and has got speed. Kasper Zak working hard in second place with Smarslik, the wild card, into third. But Pierre really building on that race he previously, looking like he's going to move on to 7 points here, and he's within touching distance of the top 8 again. He's finishing his Grand Prix season in style here. Got 11 points 2 weeks ago in Daugavpils, riding well again this evening.
And still 3 rounds to go after tonight as well for the pocket rocket. It's Kenneth Pierre in yellow from Denmark, takes the checkered flag. He's beaten Christoph Kasper Zak, whose colours are lowered for the first time tonight. Bartosz Marslik was out of shape a little bit at one stage there as well. But that is a big ride from Kenneth Pierre to put him onto 7 points. And looking good for a place now in the semi-finals here tonight. Smarslik's on 6 as well, with a couple of heats to go. So the wild card could be on target for a semi-final spot as well. Pierre, Kasperzak, Smarslik and Harris the finishing order. And now, after 3 rides each, Greg Hancock leads the GP on 9 and leads the World Championship now by 14 points.
Well, that was an excellent ride from Kenneth Pierre, and who needs practice? You know, he started out yesterday, he was just floating around. Somebody else I know, not too far away, he doesn't fancy practice either, but doesn't seem to hinder him in his performance, and it's not hindering Kenneth Pierre because he's got back-to-back race wins, and he's got 7 points this evening, and that is a great return. Kasperzak dropped his first points on the night, but 8 points from 3 rides will do him nicely. Harris struggling out the back with Smarslik in 3rd place this time, but he's changed the clutch plates and they paid big dividends because he made an excellent start from the outside. Kenneth Pierre, a good ride, and no wonder he's got a smile on his face.
Quite right too, deserves it. He's ridden well tonight, rode well in Latvia as well, and I just wonder if he can sneak into the top 8. If indeed there is the opportunity to overhaul Darcy Ward in the last 3 rounds as well, if Ward doesn't appear, as could well be the case.
Well, there's opportunities for all the riders there, aren't there? They're relatively closely balanced. There's probably 5 riders that coming into tonight that really could make a move. You know, Hampel's going backwards very rapidly, failing to score in his first 3 rides. That's a desperate meeting for him when you consider he won here last year.
Would he get a pick? Would he get a pick as a world number 2?
I think he would, yes. You know, he's been a quality rider, a World Cup winner on many occasions, captains the side. Yes, I do think so.
Well, a former world champion, Chris Holder, is with our man, Chris Louis.
Chris Holder, we spoke in Daugavpils. You said you weren't too confident to mix it out there by the fence, but tonight riding with a lot more confidence and a very hard pass on Nicky Pedersen.
Yeah, I'm not making real good starts, and I'm drawing at 1, so I need to make starts because there's not much dirt to play with. It's all on the inside, and both times, on nearly every race in the turn 2, I keep getting swallowed up, so I've had to, you know, make a couple of moves and whatever, but, you know, it was all fine for him to dive bomb me in the first lap, so I had the sort of the line on the inside where everyone is, and he tried to come back on us, and we bumped a little bit, and that was the way it went. But yeah, I need to make some starts because I'm not liking this.
You're talking, obviously, putting a lot of emphasis on the starts. You've got to come off gate 1 and 4 in your last 2 races. How is that going to be for you, do you think?
Yeah, 4. I think 4's been going not too bad. It gives you a good run in the first corner. It's not a lot of dirt, but you can still, you know, pick your way through down the back straight. So fingers crossed I can make one off 4, and then it's always good to finish with gate 1. If I need to win a race, then I've got usually the best gate to do it. So we'll see what happens.
Thanks, Chris.
Cheers.
Yeah, still struggling with confidence, I think, emphasising how important it is for him to make starts. He doesn't feel completely comfortable mixing it into traffic, so hasn't been able to get that good run round the first corner. That man has. Greg Hancock, unbeaten so far. He's made 3 textbook starts. Polish people in, great atmosphere as always here. And by and large, it's been a decent night of Speedway.
Now, Niels Christian Iversen, always good to watch, especially around Gorzow, and he is with Chris.
Niels, 22 points coming into tonight's meeting behind in 4th place. It's a pivotal night tonight, isn't it? You've got to start pushing on and making the ground up.
Yeah, it's a bit of a battle, but yeah, just got to keep going and get some points. You know, I won my last race, and hopefully I can continue now in getting some more wins. And
you're one of 5 riders in the field tonight that know this track at Gorzow very well as a home rider. How big a part is that playing?
So far, it's not really so such a big home advantage, you know. But everyone has been here a lot of times, and track's the same for everyone.
Are you realistically chasing a gold medal, or just any medal out there tonight?
As it looks so far, it looks like an uphill battle, but of course I'm gonna keep battle on. But you know, my target is to get to the podium, and that's still within reach. So gotta keep it on.
Great stuff. Thanks, Niels.
Thanks.
Yeah, he's still remaining positive, but when you look at the performance of Greg Hancock, he is making it more and more difficult for the riders now to believe that they can get the gold medal. That man there, Jarek Hampel, is having a really hard time, but clearly lacking in confidence. You can see that when he's riding the bike. Has had some, hasn't had the rub of the green either in the opening couple of rides, and that seemed to have knocked all the stuffing out of him. And clearly in his last ride he just didn't have the speed or the commitment on the bike, and not easy at all. But no, the Poles down there will be keen to try and see him back to top form if he can finish off in style with a couple of good wins.
Nani Roma, we've got a bit of Dakar for you now, and he is with Chris Louis.
Joined by a very interested party tonight. It's Monster Energy rally driver and 2014 Dakar winner, Nani Roma. Nani, your first time at a live event for Speedway. How are you finding it?
Yeah, really funny. It's a great moment. I'm really surprised, one stadium, full stadium from a Speedway. No, it's amazing, also the people, everybody enjoy. It's full, the stadium is full. It's great. I'm really surprised, but it's really nice.
And it's such a different event to what you're used to. These guys are winning races in 60 seconds, and your events take a little longer than that.
Sure, you lose half a second and you lose the race. Our race, it's a long race, a day's race, hours race. But anyway, it's the race, But yes, it's different, but it's exciting to be here. It's really explosive race. But it's nice I see sometimes in TV this event, but never in live, and it's interesting to see the bikes, to see the technique from each one, and it's nice.
And Gorzow is a big speedway town, and the fans are so passionate. There's so much energy and excitement out there tonight.
Yeah, this is so nice, It's the good atmosphere. It's too many different flags, too many different countries, but in fact everybody enjoy. Everybody's fun, and one US guy won, one German. Anyway, doesn't matter. The nationality, the most important is the speedway, and this is so nice.
It's great to have you along. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Okay, yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah, super stuff there. It's a very different type of sport, of course, to what he's used to. A very marathon rather than a sprint, as we're accustomed to. 60 seconds for a race. Pedersen just relaxing. Track preparation continuing with the water truck going down. Just giving a little bit more moisture to the track. It's slicker than I thought it was going to be. When they ripped the track up earlier on today, it looked like it was going to create lots and lots of grip, but it hasn't been the case. That's a little bit of a shame because the outside run has become quite difficult to use. Extended interval at this stage of the night, everybody being able to just to catch their breath. And that man there, he's suddenly bouncing back to top form. Of course, a previous Grand Prix winner, Michael Jepsen Jensen, certainly not out of his depth at this level.
No, he's not. And Matti Zegar, Gorzow rider, of course. Let's hear how he feels about things now with Chris.
Matti Zegar, it's a tough night out there tonight. 5 points, and you have to battle really hard for those.
Yeah, I don't feel normal today because my body's a bit weak, or a lot, because during the night I was food poisoned and I was vomitating for 4 hours, so I feel really bad. That's why I have to kind of use the body strength, not the hands and the legs. So it's tough, of course, but it's not over yet. I want to get more points than last year, and of course I want to be in the final.
A Grand Prix here in Gorzow when you're fully fit is hard enough, so to be feeling like you, it's going to be tough out there. But the battle with Niels Christian Iversen, you both lifted at different times, and you paid the penalty for yours.
Like I said before, I don't feel 100%. That's why my bike handling wasn't perfect or like it should be. So it was one mistake. It cost me, but it's not over yet.
Good luck for the rest of the night. Thanks.
So Matti Zegar then quite clearly feeling the effects of that food poisoning. But we wish him well. So the sponsors with their T-shirt competition now, their T-shirt giveaway, which is traditional, of course, at the Grand Prix. And we await the start of heat number 13, which will be coming up shortly because we've had the interval now. And heat 13, an interesting lineup. Bier, Zegar, Lindgren and Holder. Bier in a bit of form.
Yeah, good to see Kenneth Bier back to top form because he's had a difficult time, hasn't he, with injuries and so forth. But yeah, he's looking good, and fair play to him. 2 back-to-back wins and well outside the top 8, but with riders being suspended and injured and so forth, if he gets on a bit of a roll, who knows? Voyens in 2 weeks' time, his home Grand Prix. may just give himself a bit of a lifeline.
Interesting that Matti Zagar has been ill in the night with food poisoning. Has he been eating at the same place as you, Kelvin? That's the question.
Could well have been, because I have a lot of sympathy for him, because if he went through what I went through last night, he's doing very well to be here racing this evening.
Yep. So, here we go then, heat number 13. It's been a good GP so far. Let's hope that continues right through until heat 23 with the grand final. The big question now is, can Greg Hancock go through the card? 3 rides and 3 wins, but we're up to heat 13. And Matti Zagar, the man who has admitted that he's feeling pretty weak after that food poisoning, is off gate number 2 in blue here. Hancock 112, Woffenden 98, Pedersen 91 and Everson 87. None of those riders appear in this race, but Hancock in with a real opportunity tonight.
Yeah, he has, and he's ridden supremely well so far. But can Pierre back out again? Can he make it 3 on the spin and secure his semi-final spot? Zagar looking to try and pick up some more points, and that man on the outside, Chris Holder, who's had a disappointing night so far, looking to try and utilise the outside gate nines, because certainly in the first corner from the outside, you've got a great chance of hitting the front.
Heat 13, here we go then. Kenneth Pierre going off the inside in red with Matti Zagar off 2, struggling with food poisoning. He's revealed, feeling very weak. Freddie Lindgren gate 3 in white, and Chris Holder off the outside in yellow. Just wonder whether the food poisoning issue and the fact that Matty's feeling weak explains that scenario in his earlier ride where he almost lost control of the bike. But certainly an issue for sure.
Yeah, it's not ideal coming into a meeting like that, because you're going to be drained of energy, that's for sure. I think he just got caught out with a little bit of extra drive coming out of turn 4, and Everson was able to exploit it. Pierre on the inside could be a danger here. He's been in top form, but Holder on the outside needs a big ride here. Needs to try and get a good run through the first corner.
Pierre's got his gating gloves on tonight. Can he make it count here? Zagar's hit the front from gate 2. Lindgren went square in that first turn, and Holder has nipped up the inside quite beautifully. Now Lindgren's going to try and get the better of Kenneth Pierre into 3rd place. Lindgren has got the bit between his teeth, no doubt, but Matti Zagar making a mockery of the food poisoning issue, has the lead superbly. Holder 2nd, and Lindgren is 3rd.
Well, do we believe him? Because he's looking very good out in front. He made a terrific start, just one blip so far. Got to say, Holder's looking pretty impressive in 2nd place. Looks like he's pretty fired up and working hard to try and get himself to the front. He's there, you know, Nigel. He's really very, very keen to get to the front. Zagar under pressure. Holder, the former world champion, trying everything he knows. It's Lindgren in 3rd. Holder up the inside. There's a lap to go. It's awfully tight for the lead.
Certainly is. Holder throwing everything at Zagar, but Zagar has got the speed down the back straight, and Pierre now going for 3rd. Has to get off the gas because Lindgren holds the inside line, but Matti Zagar is going to get a big 3 points to his name. Chris Holder has worked hard tonight, not quite making the starts, but moves on to 6 points. But that is a big 3 for Zagar, because he's up to 8 points now. Big ride from him, and Kenneth Pierre's inconsistency creeps in there with a last place after his 7 points so far tonight. But Matti Zagar might be suffering from food poisoning, but he's got his appetite for Speedway here tonight.
Brilliant. No, he made light of it there. He made a brilliant start and rode solidly out in front.
Under pressure from Chris Holder in 2nd. Freddie Lindgren was 3rd.
Yep.
And Kenneth Pierre at the back. This is what it means overall now. It means that Matti Zagar's on 8. Kenneth Pierre's on 7. Lindgren in the top 6, just ahead of Chris Holder on 6 points so far. And good Speedway again there, Kelv.
Yeah, it was. It was a strong race. Zagar just taking a breather, just kind of relaxed in between heats. But he makes a great start here out of gate 2. Not many people have done that. Then gets to the first corner. Holder makes a great move here. Didn't make the start from the outside, but switches back to the inside coming out of turn 2 and passes 2 boys in one move. Lindgren then comes charging up the inside of Kenneth Pierre, and this time Pierre finds himself relegated to the back, and it's a great effort from Holder here. Looked like for a long time here he was going to be able to get the better of Zagar out in front. Late on in the race, Pierre nearly running up the inside of Freddie Lindgren, but he slams the door shut and hangs on to 3rd place. But Zagar will be chuffed to bits. 8 points, could well be a semi-final spot secured already. Holder's still got work to do, but Zagar, Grand Prix winner now. He's got gate 2 again in his last ride. He'll have fond memories. Just won the race from there.
Well, Chris Holder is working so hard tonight, Kelvin. 6 points from 4 rides. Knows that he still needs to get points in his last outing. But he really has worked hard for those 6 points.
No lack of commitment, is there?
Not
really,
at all.
Really giving it his all. A race win would be handy in his 5th ride.
Greg Hancock, the series leader, is out here in white. He leads on 112. Ty Woofenden, we remind you, if you have just tuned in tonight, is not here. Ruled out through a hand injury sustained a week ago at Eastbourne in British League Racing for his club Wolverhampton. Heat 14. Everson off the inside in red with Christoph Kasperzak gate 2 in blue. Hancock unbeaten so far off 3. Bachelor off the outside in yellow. Quite a lineup here for heat number 14 in Gorzow.
Yeah, fabulous lineup. The 2 boys on the inside, 2 gates, obviously home favourites. And I'm sure the Poles will be cheering for Kasperzak. It's between Kasperzak and Hancock, of course. Kasperzak got the better of him in Daugavpils a couple of weeks ago, but Hancock makes such fabulous starts. Can he produce one from gate 3 here again now?
Heat number 14. Everson's made a good one, and so has Kasperzak off 2. Now Hancock is going to try and go through the middle and around the outside. Oh! That's a nasty crash down the back straight. Hancock and Everson go down. Let's hope they're going to be okay.
Hancock's got his arm caught in the back of the bike.
Yeah, that's a nasty one.
Just got it out. Very awkward crash. He saw it coming. Hand injury possibly there for Hancock, the championship leader. Drama coming out of turn 2 in the opening lap there. Everson losing control. Concern for Hancock.
Well,
he read that. You saw him trying to get off the bike so quickly. Everson just looking for too much grip. He's still strewn on the track. Good to see him up and about. And Greg Hancock there clearly in a little bit of a state of shock over that, but he did react remarkably quickly as they came out of the first corner.
Well, Hancock, will he be okay?
Sure, he had his hand trapped, didn't he? And he was desperately trying to release it from the bike. I'm not quite sure exactly where it was, but what a nasty incident down the back straight, and Everson still being attended on the track.
Yeah, Everson lying down on the back straight now. Let's hope he's going to be okay. It was a nasty-looking tumble. We'll keep our fingers crossed, of course, for Niels, hugely popular rider, as is this man, Greg Hancock. And I do believe the arm has gone up for an ambulance to come out onto the track here now. Chanting his name here in Gorzow, but that was a nasty one at a high speed down the back straight as well. He is conscious.
We'll see it again now. It tapes up. Bike's going roaring towards the first corner. Initially it's Kasperzak. Kasperzak goes very wide in the first corner. Everson then gets too much grip coming off the corner here, and the bike just goes straight across. Look at Hancock desperately gets his hand caught on the back tyre of Everson, and that causes a problem. And then subsequently gets his arm and hand caught in his own machine. Watch it now. He's desperately trying to get down. And it's there, just there. The hand gets pulled in on back tyre of Everson. Very awkward crash, and clearly Everson very uncomfortable, a knee injury possibly, but the hand of Hancock getting sucked underneath the mudguard, the rear mudguard. There now, tyres pulling him in, pulling him off the bike. Look, his whole arm's gone in there. That is dramatic.
Well, I hope both boys are going to be okay here.
Look at his arm there. Oh, that's awful. Awful. Yeah. And with the new regulation, that's going to be uncomfortable. You can see he's in some pain.
Well, for the record, Niels Christian Everson is disqualified. And that is just a pure racing accident. Absolutely nothing that either rider could have done about that.
No, and just that little bit of extra drive he got coming off the first corner. And with the new regulations, it's been in for a couple of years now, they've lowered the level of the rear mudguards to stop that happening, and that clearly didn't stop it. His arm got sucked in underneath the mudguard. A round of applause for Everson, who has been put on the stretcher, clearly in a lot of discomfort, but concern for both riders. Hancock back in the paddock, but I still think he's suffering.
Yeah. Well, 2 top guys as well. Hancock's going to be seen to by the doctor here, and Greg hurt here. Ty missing tonight through injury.
Can you believe it, Nigel?
Niels hurt.
everything going so silkily smoothly. Yeah, there's problems there. When you see the replay of how hard his arm got sucked in underneath the mudguard of Niels Christian Iversen, and as I reiterate, modern day regulations, the rear mudguard has to be almost touching the tyre to stop that from happening, and it didn't. And therefore probably made the situation worse. Far from ideal.
Well, we've had a great Speedway meeting here so far, and never nice to see an incident like that. And
I think he's got a hand injury. Iversen, yeah, there's issues there, either a finger dislocated or something not quite right with Greg Hancock.
Yeah, he's in a lot of pain there, isn't he, Greg? And this is not good to see. He's in a lot of discomfort.
Oh, yeah.
Not good to see, no. And it does upset you immensely when you see such nice guys riding at the top of their game.
He was so desperately trying to avoid the back of Iversen, but just couldn't keep out of the way. He was actually pushing the handbar down. In effect, that actually caused the problem for him, because that's when the left hand actually got pulled in by the rear tyre of Iversen. And wouldn't surprise me that he's got some sort of dislocation to a finger or something along that sort of order, but concern also for Iversen. Looked like he may have twisted a knee or gone down there. He certainly felt for it straight away. Good to see him moving around, possibly talking there, but a nasty incident.
Yeah, fingers crossed for Niels and for Greg. Not good at all. Never good to see any type of crash in Speedway, and that's why guys like me that started watching Speedway as a kid on the terraces have got just ultimate respect for everybody who gets on a Speedway bike. Greg still clearly in a lot of discomfort here. And the talk of the sport right now, unfortunately, is of course the injuries. With Ty Woffenden missing this meeting due to a broken bone in his hand. Here we see it again.
See, he puts the bike down, but he can't, it just pulls him in. And in effect, that could have made it worse. He's then, that is awful. Now you see the full extent of it. That really is awful. Oh dear. I'd be very surprised if either rider is able to ride again tonight.
Still trapped there, still trapped.
Yeah, you saw him desperately trying to remove it. You see it.
Oh no, that's not good to see.
I think it unlikely he'll be able to ride again. Look at that. That is going to be extremely uncomfortable. If he hasn't broken a finger or dislocated a finger, that will be remarkable.
Or could it be an arm injury as well?
No, it's hand injury, Nige. Definitely hand.
Well,
but that new rule, what I was saying, the new rule with the mudguards to be lowered was to stop that after Nicky Pedersen and also Jason Crump getting those bad burns when they got their arms sucked in under the mudguard. You saw him there actually destroying the fixing of the mudguard and pushing the mudguard out of the way. So fierce was the force of the rear tyre spinning of Niels Christian Iversen. Unfortunate incident, very unfortunate, but I think it's a minor miracle if either of them. I can't see Iversen riding again tonight. I think he's done, but
Kenneth Pierre having a check-up on Niels, fellow countryman, of course.
It's left hand as well, and you've got to operate the clutch. That's going to be tough, really tough.
Yeah, fingers crossed, and we don't really want to speculate, of course, because we can only see what we can see.
You just wonder whether
we are hearing that Greg will not be able to go in the restart. That is the word that we're getting from the pits area. Well, so Greg Hancock is too badly hurt to take his place in the restart.
No surprise to hear that, Nigel. You know, when you saw the extent of the injury in the replays there, I do believe he's suffered some sort of problem with the hand there, quite clearly feeling it.
But he did say as well, Greg did say as well, he feels for Ty Woffenden, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's his main title rival.
Yeah, and Greg
said in the interview, you know, he feels for Ty.
Greg's had a remarkably injury-free career. He hasn't had any major injuries in his long, illustrious career, and yeah, it can be quite shocking when you have something like that, and you could clearly see he was suffering with all sorts of discomfort. But are we now witnessing a dramatic twist in this year's championship chase? And in fact, we are, because opportunities for a rider like Nicky Pedersen now.
Yeah.
If Greg Hancock and Iversen cannot resume this evening, then which looks highly likely.
Could Kasperzak really propel himself right back into contention with 3 rounds to go?
All of a sudden, but Greg has scored 9 points, so it's not a complete disaster. He stretched his lead in the championship, but of course he wouldn't have wanted to end the night in this fashion.
No, and we recall last year as well, of course, Emil Sayfutdinov missed the last few rounds. Just getting some information on Greg. His knuckle was pushed down, and there is a suspicion that Greg has a broken hand.
Well, that doesn't surprise me if that is the case. Certainly a dislocation of some sort. Initially, with the shock of it and the adrenaline pumping, he was moving it, but that's perfectly natural. But you could quite easily see both of these boys having to go to hospital. Not quite sure what's wrong with Niels Christian Iversen, a knee problem. It looked like it was a knee problem where he twisted it. We've only got one reserve, of course, now with the inclusion of Adrian Seifer replacing Ty Woofenden. So interesting to see if we probably only have a 3-man race now.
Yep, Lukas Kaczmarek is the number 18 in the lineup tonight, but it's just so hard, isn't it?
That's blown the wind out of my sails.
Well, absolutely, you know,
yeah.
I'm sure everybody at home as well, you know, you must feel the same as us here, where we love our speedway, we love watching it live here at the track. We try and portray the excitement to you in your living room or wherever you are watching. And then when something like that happens, and, you know, we know the guys pretty well as well, Kelv, it's so hard, isn't it, when you see boys hurt like that?
It's really difficult, and we've witnessed quite a lot of serious crashes of late and spent quite a lot of time having to sort of describe them and talk about them. It's not very pleasant, but fingers crossed we don't see any more incidents like that. But that was a high-speed incident going down the back straight, and yeah, fingers crossed that both of them are able to make speedy recoveries.
It does mean that Lukas Kaczmarek will come in for Greg Hancock here for his debut GP ride. Kaczmarek, another one of the local youngsters from Gorzow here, replaces Hancock in white. So our very, very best wishes go to Niels Christian Iversen and Greg Hancock after that crash. We are trying to get an update on Iversen for you. We know it is a suspected broken hand for Greg Hancock, but we are awaiting further news on Niels Christian Iversen.
Yeah, at a guess, I think it's a knee issue. He sort of grabbed it. But yeah, we will have to wait for confirmation on that. Either way, Nige, neither of them were in the rerun. He was excluded anyway. Whether he was fit enough to take his place in the rerun, I think was very much doubtful, because he got stretchered off. But yeah, that is quite a dramatic scenario. And when it was all looking like it was going plain sailing for Greg Hancock, suddenly out of nowhere he's involved in an incident, no fault of his own, innocent bystander effectively, and a nasty injury as a result of it.
Well, the pit gate is still open right now, and we await the start of this rerun, heat number 14. No rider off the inside. Kasperzak goes off 2, Kaczmarek goes off 3, and Bachelor going off the outside in yellow. Kaczmarek off gate 3, in as a replacement for Greg Hancock. Here we go. We are hearing that Iversen will go to hospital, but we are awaiting an update on what the suspected injury is. We will let you know just as soon as we can. It is a knee injury, we're told. Heat 14 then, here we go. Kasperzak's made a good start from gate number 2. Bachelor comes around the outside in yellow. Kasperzak is third in white here. But Christoph Kasperzak now looking comfortable, and Troy Bachelor of Australia holding second place, and now Kasperzak holding the outside line, but Bachelor comes through superbly. Troy Bachelor made of tough stuff, and Kasperzak says thank you very much, I'll just pick it off again here.
Well, 2 mistakes there, and we saw the race lead change twice. Initially Kasperzak running wide in turns 3 and 4. Now Bachelor to the front, then Bachelor got too much grip through turns 1 and 2. And Kasperzak was able to repay the compliment. It's neck and neck between the first 2 riders. Track conditions look quite tricky. Very sort of rutty, or too much grip in the wrong places. Kasperzak with a lap to go is just about hanging on. These are useful points to the pole, with Bachelor pushing really hard in second.
Yep, good ride here from Christoph Kasperzak. It's going to put him on to 11 points. He's heading through to the semi-finals, no problem at all. Had to work hard there to get the better of Bachelor after going wide in the early stages of the race. But he pulled off the victory, Christoph Kasperzak, with Troy Bachelor second. And in third place was Lucas Kaczmarek with his first ever GP ride. And that will have been a great experience for the young man. But what a ride from Krzysztof Kasperzak, who 2 weeks ago suffered a nasty spill with Chris Harris.
He did.
It's happening a lot. There's a common theme here. It is a dangerous sport, we know that. Kasperzak the winner, Batchelor was second, Kaczmarek was third, 3 riders only, and Krzysztof Kasperzak now goes to the top of the standings with 11 points from 4 rides.
Yeah, he'll be pleased with that. It was had to have quite a long wait for that, but he remained focused and professional, and he's pleased with it. 1 point has dropped this evening, so 11 points to his name. Tapes up. He's out of gate 2. Batchelor, I think he may have changed his bike before this ride. I know he was certainly had his second bike out on the track prior to the race starting, and he was looking pretty convincing here with Kasperzak running a little bit too wide early on, and that allows Batchelor to the front. But then Batchelor can't hang on to the bike as he starts the very next lap, and Kasperzak was able to replay the compliment and gets back up the inside and then finally seals the deal. Doesn't look completely convincing, but there's no question that the 11 points will do very nicely for him, and a hard charge in second place. But yeah, look at that, that's pretty impressive. He's enjoying a good home Grand Prix.
Favourite to win the meeting now, Kasperzak?
Without doubt, yeah, he's looking strong. 11 points, he'll be getting nice and relaxed. He should be able to dominate proceedings from here.
So he, number 15, Michael Jepsen Jensen, goes off the inside. Here we see Chris Harris, the only British rider in the lineup tonight. And Michael Jepsen Jensen, who now is on 6 points in his third GP of the series, and looking every bit as though he may get another 3 GPs after this. Jepsen Jensen off the inside in red, Andreas Jonsson gate 2 in blue, Chris Harris gate 3 in white, and Martin Smolinski going off the outside in yellow. Plenty of German fans here tonight want to see Smolinski do well, but since that fairy tale debut in New Zealand, it's just not happened for Smolinski.
No, it hasn't, and he hasn't been able to get the same. We're not far from the German border, so they've all come piling in here, but Jepsen Jensen's the favourite on the inside. Won previously last time out.
Yeah, he did, and he's made a good start here as well. Now Jonsson tries the inside line. Harris is going to try and come through the middle. Chris Harris in white, wheel to wheel down the back straight. Great speedway. Chris Harris of Great Britain has taken the lead here with a wonderful ride in Heat 15. Jepsen Jensen all over him. Andreas Jonsson is third in blue. Smolinski now at the back, and Jonsson wheel to wheel with Jepsen Jensen. But Kelvin Harris showed plenty of guts and determination there.
He did indeed. He got himself to the front. Jepsen Jensen now getting himself back into second place, with Jonsson running very wide and Smolinski getting in on the act. But a great commitment from Harris, who scored 2 points in his opening ride. The next 2 races he failed to score, and this will move on to 5 with a ride to go. Giving himself an outside chance, but look at Jepsen Jensen. Up until very recently, these 2 boys were teammates in the UK. Jepsen Jensen charging down the back straight, a corner to go.
Here we go, and now Harris has gone wide. That's allowed. Jepsen Jensen the inside run.
Whoa! How tight was that, Nigel? Very tight on the run to the line.
I think Harris held on.
Could well have done. As I said, they were teammates just a few days ago. I don't think they are now. But a great effort, early doors from Chris Harris to get to the front. Jepsen Jensen, who got relegated to third at one point, but got himself...
Chris has held on here.
This is tight, really tight. Here we go on the run to the line. Jepsen Jensen.
Oh!
Jepsen Jensen's done it, Nige. What a ride from the Danish rider. Moves on to 9 points, another semi-final. What a ride that is.
I've made a mess of my programme now.
Start again.
I'd already written 3 by Chris's name.
Don't lose your act. It's all right.
Really do need to start using a laptop to do my my scorecard.
What a ride from Jepsen Jensen. Full credit to him. 3 points for him. Harris 2 points. Jonsson 1 in third. Smolinski out the back. Jepsen Jensen, Nigel, up to third place. 9 points to his name. That's a great effort from the Danish rider.
Absolutely. Let's say well done to Chris Harris on playing his part there. That was a brilliant ride. Jonsson third. Great speedway again here.
Yeah, fabulous race. Early doors. Jensen off the inside. Makes a good start. Runs wide. And Jonsson and Harris in it. Look at this. 3 abreast down the back straight early on. Total commitment from Harris to get to the front early on. Jonsson then gets the better of Jepsen Jensen, and he gets relegated to third at the early stages of the race. Jonsson there in second place now, but Jepsen Jensen then squares the corner off, and gets himself nicely back into second place, and it looked for all intents and purposes that Harris was going to clear off out in front and win the race relatively comfortably. But full credit to Jepsen Jensen, got himself right into the thick of the action, showing terrific speed, growing in confidence as the night goes on. Second race win for him, and he's in the semi-finals. That's a great effort.
He scored 8, 9 and now 9 again in his 3 appearances in the GP this year.
Well, could he win tonight?
Why not?
Won a Grand Prix before,
Last
Nigel?
year, yep, absolutely. Great talent, Jepsen Jensen. I think there's no doubt he's boosted by the fact that his father is here.
Oh, that goes without saying.
Yep, after suffering from that illness, of course. Adrian Seifer comes off the inside in red here. Nicky Pedersen, gate 2 in blue. 5 points to his name. Bartosz Smarslik, gate 3 in white. And Jarek Hampel has failed to score so far. He's off the outside in yellow. Great opportunity for Nicky Pedersen here to add to his tally. And with no Ty Woffenden tonight, and potentially, and more likely, no more Greg Hancock, could this be a night where Pedersen really rockets himself back into the world title race? Heat 16 it is, and Pedersen's made a good start off gate number 2, but switching up the inside quite beautifully is Bartosz Smarslik. He's there again, the youngster. What a ride! And now Smarslik has that lead. Pedersen holds second place. Third in red is Seifer, and now it's superb speedway again as Hampel holds the back at the moment and can't land the blow. Just about challenging for third place now, but look at the lead for the youngster, Bartosz Smarslik.
Fabulous out in front, Smarslik, terrific from the wild card. Really committed, track conditions a bit choppy now, riders really having to hang on. Hampel out the back once again, his misery continues this evening, hasn't scored a point, but Smarslik delighting the home fans, flying out in front, there's a lap to go, he's enjoying a super Grand Prix again.
He's the baby of Gorzow, but my goodness me, he's rocketing clear down the back straight. I'm going to let the crowd bring him home. Bartosz Smarslik! Wow! What a ride from the young man! Seen briefly in the UK with the Birmingham Promies earlier this summer. Rode in the UK last year in a World Under 21 as well. But what a performance. He's done it again here tonight.
Fantastic.
In his own backyard. He's into the semi-finals, Kel.
Well, he wanted all the Grand Prix here, wouldn't he? Because he'd be a championship contender, because riding like that was really awe-inspiring. He was superb there once again, knows this place well, track condition, not easy, but he made light of that, flying out in front. Terrific from Smarslik.
Seifer gets his first points, and Jarek Hampel 4 last places. But Kasperzak leads the GP now on 11 points.
Well, Bartosz Smarslik is enjoying a smashing night of Speedway, and there's no question that he's enjoying himself, and rightly has a big wide smile on his face. Tapes up initially, it's Pedersen who makes a great start. What a move in the first corner from Smarslik. He's able to chop immediately to the inside and gets the better there. His team delighted with that. His father there with his moustache. He's keenly looking on. There's a real battle between Hampel and Seifer there for third place, and Hampel's misery, it really is unexplainable. Just cannot score a point at all. No confidence in the boy at all, but that man there, sheer delight, delighting the home fans as well. Moves nicely into a semi-final position, and Smarslik has disappeared behind his own pit awning, but no, terrific stuff from Bartosz. Yeah, good to see him. He was here a couple of years ago when he made the rostrum, and that night was an extraordinary night because Martin Veselik was here as well, and he won on his debut Grand Prix and picked up the win that evening, delighting the home fans. And it's a super stuff. Yeah. So we can get down to the paddock now with Richard Charles, Greg Hancock's manager, with Chris Louis.
Richard, big disappointment. Greg's had the big crash with Niels there, and obviously both unable to take any further part. Can you give us a quick update on Greg?
Well, it looks like he's injured his left hand, possibly broken. They're taking him to the hospital for x-rays. You know, hope for the best. Maybe it might just be dislocated.
Never a good timing for an injury, and Greg is one rider that manages to steer clear all of the time. Just 2 weeks now before Voyens. What's the chances of being able to get fit?
Well, it's a little early to say, but we're hoping that there's nothing seriously wrong and to be able to ride again soon.
Thanks, Richard.
Thanks.
Yeah, not ideal. It's very early, of course. They'll be keeping their fingers crossed that it is a dislocation and not a break. Dislocation, they can probably get the swelling down and get it under control with physiotherapy. Physiotherapy is what Pedersen is receiving continuously. He's got his physiotherapist Lisa there in the paddock with him, and fair play to him. He's battling hard. He's got a good return of points this evening, and just showing the sort of commitment that Pedersen has. And with Greg Hancock out, it is an opportunity for the three-time world champion to make his move here tonight. But Nigel, it's sounding like a dislocation. They're going for x-rays with Greg Hancock as we speak, so they're hoping that it isn't broken.
Fingers crossed, yeah, absolutely. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that is the case, of course. And if it is a dislocation, then you would like to think that they'll be back in place and ready to go in Voyens.
Well, that's it. Get the swelling down and be able to work. We've got to be. We're just patiently waiting now for the last 4 heats before the semi-finals. Riders, of course, there's a few riders on 7 points. There, you've got Bier, Pedersen, and Bachelor on 7, who are working hard. Bier has had 2 wins and then just missed out last time.
Here's one for you, though, Kelv. Greg Hancock, 9 points, has already qualified for the semi-final, you would think, but he can't take his place. So it looks like a 3-rider semi-final, because in the semi-finals, really, there's no point putting a reserve in, is there?
No, and it wouldn't surprise me at all that we'll have 7 riders in this the semi-finals. Can't remember it happening too often. Riders qualifying for the semi-final, then not being able to take their place, but that's the case this evening.
If there is any consolation, Kelv, Greg has won 3 straight races, 3 out of 3.
Yeah.
And you could argue that job done.
Well, I did say that at the time.
Yeah.
It's not ideal.
It's a small consolation.
It's not ideal, but he had got 9 points coming up to his 4th ride, so he'd stretched his lead in the championship. So it's if he can get himself fit for Voyens, then it's not disastrous.
Yeah, absolutely right. Ty Wolfenden will have had a couple more weeks recuperation to try and get himself ready for Voyens as well.
Yeah, I'm sure Ty's going to be very positive about getting himself back. He's desperate to have a medal this year. If he can't be world champion, he certainly wants to pick up a silver or a bronze. Holder there we're just having a look at. He's looking relaxed, but Chris has got a little bit of work to do. He's finding it quite tough tonight. He's on 6 points with a race.
They've been hard fought, haven't they?
Yeah,
he's not making starts, is he?
No, and he's reliant on starts at the moment. He's just lacking a little bit of fitness and confidence.
He needs a good winter, doesn't he, Kel?
Yes, injury free, and get some sun on his back in Australia and get himself really fit and raring to go for 2015. But I'm sure Chris won't want to pick for next year's series. He'll want to battle his way into the top 8 if at all possible, and he can do that, but it's not quite at his best.
No, still a little bit away from his 100% peak, you feel. But I do feel that Chris, if he can come back 100% fit for the start of next year, then he can have a good campaign. Now, Bartosz Smarslik, what a night he's had. And if you're just joining us, just listen for the high-pitched voice. His voice hasn't broken yet. He's with Chris.
Bartosz, 9 points from your first 4 rides. Fantastic evening so far.
Thank you. I'm very happy. And now hits my bike very fast. And this semi-final, good race.
You know the track very well. You're making a lot of lines out there on the track. You've got to be confident going into, hopefully you've already made the semi-finals.
Yes, I'm very stressed, speak English, sorry. Not good speak English. Yes, I'm very happy. Only very happy and good race, semi-final.
We look forward to seeing you in the semis. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, fair play to him to attempt the interview. He's clearly enjoying himself, and rightly so. And
great to watch around here.
Yeah, he is spectacular. We saw him very briefly in the UK, where he didn't really have enough time to settle, if the truth be known. But we've seen him on 1 or 2 occasions here, and he's always been dynamic around this track. He knows it inside out. And certainly as a wild card, he's done himself justice this evening. He's delighted the home crowd as well as himself. We're going to see him quite a lot more this evening.
Now, Michael Jensen is now with Chris. Let's hear from him.
Michael, 9 points. Looks like you've already made your way to the semi-finals. It's been tough racing out there tonight.
Yeah, the track is a bit hard. There's so many rough lines, especially now after the last grid, and I don't know what happened, but the track was just way worse. But it's normally quite good track, so many lines, so it's nice.
It looks like if you want to use the inside, you've got to be a brave man because the speed is there, but it's in the ruts. It makes the bike pretty difficult to control.
Yeah, I don't know. The first few heats there was plenty of grip in there, but I don't feel it's that good anymore. I had some good speed on the outside the last few heats, so I'm just trying to ride some smooth lines so I won't crash.
Thanks, Mike.
No worries.
Yeah, good stuff from Jensen. He's a Grand Prix winner, of course, a World Cup winner as well 2 years ago. Had a quiet season last year, but looking like with his father back in his pit crew, it seems to have boosted him, and he's riding really well, and wouldn't surprise me if he makes the final this evening.
So, heat number 17 coming up here, and it does mean that Greg Hancock will be replaced here by Lucas Kaczmarek. So Lucas out for his second outing of the evening in the traditional Stal Gorzow colours of blue and yellow.
Well, this is remarkable because Jarek Hampel has failed to score so far. He's here, and the form of the other riders here, you've got to say that Holder's got a good opportunity here to hit the front and pick up a all-important win, and for the Australian that would be very useful indeed. So this is a great chance for Holder to make the semi-finals.
Here we go for heat 17 then. Chris Holder going off the inside in red. Lucas Kaczmarek in for Greg Hancock, who we are being told has got a dislocated knuckle, and hopefully that'll be back in place and ready for Voyens in a couple of weeks' time. Much better than we first thought. Hampel off gate number 3, yet to score a point. Extraordinary. And Chris Harris going off the outside, who was involved in that real battle a couple of heats ago with Michael Jensen, and great to see the boys, Chris and Michael, comparing notes back in the pits.
Yeah.
Having a bit of fun about it as well. Great to see. Heat number 17 then here in Gorzow. Who's going to hit that first turn then? And it's a great start from Hampel. That's the real Jarek Hampel away from the start. Gate 3 in white. And now Holder coming up the inside. Oh, and almost gets the drive where Niels Christian Iversen got it and caused the problems. It's Hampel with the lead. Chris Holder is holding second spot right now. Chris Harris is third. And the youngster Kaczmarek is at the back. But Holder once again really having to work hard for his points here. This will put him on to 8 points. And will probably put him through. But it's Jarek Hampel who's looking more like his old self.
Oh, how on earth Harris stayed on there, but you're right, Nigel. Super start from Hampel, a little bit tentative initially, but he's battling awfully hard and he's hanging on there. He's got his foot on the ground as he goes into turn 3. He's riding wider. Holder pushing hard, desperate for a win. 8 points without a race win, you never know. Could rule him out. He's up the inside of Hampel. Hampel, without question, struggling for confidence. Oh, he's packed up! Packed up, it's gone from bad to worse for Hampel.
How has Chris Holder avoided him? That is unbelievable. Hampel looked down at his bike coming out of turn 2. He knew there were problems with that bike, and it's given up the ghost down the back straight, and that has allowed Holder through. And Chris Holder is probably thinking, how on earth did I avoid Jarek Hampel? He was so close to him, and I thought they were going to collide at high speed down the back straight. Thankfully, Holder goes away from that, and Jarek Hampel will go away from Gorzow with a big fat 0 to his name.
Completely empty-handed, and that's a desperate night for Jarek Hampel. The chain came off, front chain snapped, coming down the back straight on the last lap, and that is bitter disappointment when your luck's out. It just is, and it went from bad to worse there. Winning the race, would have won the race, but the front chain snaps, but that gives Holder a win, moving on to 9 points, and he'll take that and say thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, he's in the semi-finals now, Chris Holder. Chris Harris second there, battling away for his points once again, finishes the night on 6. And third there was Kaczmarek, the reserve, who gets his second Grand Prix point. But Holder now 5th place 9 points. But for Jarek Hampel, just a night to forget. Truly extraordinary for Jarek, who now in the last 3 rounds has scored 9 Grand Prix points from 3 meetings.
Yeah, that's quite
Staggering.
unbelievable. It is staggering, and initially he's made a great start from gate 3, and he's hit the front. Was a little bit tentative. He didn't want to run on the inside where Holder was pushing really hard. You've got to say that the commitment from Chris Holder once again has been, you know, you can't fault it. And he's on the inside where there's a few ruts, and as they come to later in the race, see him there, he's not really committed, but the bike then packs up with the chain letting go, and you'll just see him all of a sudden.
I thought he was slowing up anyway, Kel.
Yeah, but yeah, maybe.
Do you know your chain's
How on earth did he avoid him? You're right. No, the chain is either on or off, Nigel.
So, but he looked as though he was slowing. Look, he's looking down at his bike there.
Maybe there was something just slowing them. Maybe the chain was beginning to break. Certainly, you see it
he's
there.
right up his back wheel.
Whoa, that could have been really nasty indeed. And as you said at the time, Nigel, Holder was awfully fortunate. A few seconds later, he's on the back wheel celebrating the race win. 3 points to his name, 9 points from his first 5 rides. Semi-final on its way, but yeah, all bad luck for Hampel tonight. Restarts backfiring on him, but Chris Holder there just relieved to have got away with that one. Fantastic.
Well, not a happy man, is he? A night to forget for Jarek. World number 2 last year, and now 63 GP points to his name. Chris Holder's now moved on to 70 GP points, just 5 behind Darcy Ward, who hasn't ridden tonight through suspension, of course. And Fredrik Lindgren has got 6 points to his name, so Lindgren's now on 69. So Holder and Lindgren above Hampel, and with Ward set to fall out of the equation as well. The race is on for the top 8, and Holder and Lindgren are the big winners tonight, where that is concerned. Now, heat number 18, a second successive ride here for Lukas Kaczmarek in the blue helmet colour. He'll be enjoying the experience, albeit at the misfortune of Hancock and Everson, of course. Wish the boys well. We have Adrian Seifer here in red. So it's a battle of the Gorzow boys off the inside 2 gates. Kenneth Bier, gate 3, and Michael Jepsen-Jensen, who's been hugely impressive, off the outside in yellow.
Yeah, and I think he's favourite for the race. He's looked very impressive indeed. He's grown in stature as the night's gone on. He was a little bit unfortunate not to win a race earlier on when he came up against Greg Hancock. The line up here once again.
Seifer off the inside. Kaczmarek, gate 2. Kenneth Bier, gate 3 in white, and Michael Jepsen-Jensen going off the outside in yellow. When you see Seifer and Kaczmarek and how young they are and making their GP bow tonight, it just adds to the impressive nature of Smarslik's debut a couple of years ago here. A night won by Vasilik, we recall.
Yeah.
And Smarslik, well, he was on the rostrum, and that boy is obviously a special young talent.
Round here he is, no question about that. He knows the place inside out. Here we go.
Heat number 18 it is, and Jepsen-Jensen's made a good one, but so has the man in red, Seifer. And now Jepsen-Jensen is going to try and go around the outside, but Seifer holds the line. Jepsen-Jensen's got the speed to pass him though here. Now Bier will take up the challenge, and Bier goes wide, but locks up. And Seifer holds second spot right now. The lead is with Jepsen-Jensen. Adrian Seifer is second, and third is Bier. Seifer in for Woffington, of course. And down the back straight, Bier is chasing hard after Seifer.
Yeah, and Bier wants to get to second place. He's on 7 points. He's got a couple of race wins which could stand him in good stead, but 9 would be ideal. Got to say, Jepsen-Jensen on 9, looking like he's going to move on to 12. He's enjoying a fabulous Grand Prix. What a race for second place. Adrian Seifer, the young reserve, coming in for the world champion, Woofingen riding a stormer. There's a lap to go. Can he keep Kenneth Bier at bay in 3rd place? Super Speedway here. Bier's going to do him up the inside now.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Gorzow fans are going crazy here. Seifer holding 3rd now because Bier's picked him off. Jepsen-Jensen, what a performance from that young man. 12 points here. Michael Jepsen-Jensen in for the suspended Darcy Ward. He punches the air with delight. And Michael Jepsen-Jensen now in 3 Grand Prix has scored 8, 9 and 12. 29 points from 3 Grand Prix
Good
from
stuff.
Michael Jepsen-Jensen.
Really good stuff from Michael Jepsen-Jensen, and clearly growing in confidence as the night goes on. And I've got to say, 12 points is a great return.
Jepsen-Jensen from Bier, from Seifer, from Kaczmarek. the finishing order. Jepsen Jensen rockets up the standings and tops the GP score charts now with 12. And Kenneth Pierre now on to 9 points. That was a vital second place for him, Kelv.
It was. He had to work awfully hard because Adrian Sefer made him really come out, pull out all the stops rather to get himself into second place. Michael Jepsen Jensen, terrific once again. He's using that outside line. He said in the interview with Chris Louis that he fancied it there, and so it proved. He had plenty of speed out there. Great stuff from Adrian Sefer, and when you consider how rich they are with resources here in this country, Poland, under 21 level, they really are very dominant indeed. Pierre having to use all his experience here, and finally the youngster succumbs to the pressure with Adrian Sefer just running across the corner. It's a bit rutty, it is a little bit awkward out there, and finally the Danish rider gets the better of the youngster and gets himself into second place, and 9 points will do him very nicely. But Michael Jepsen Jensen clearly enjoying himself, and we're beginning to see the form that we saw from him a couple of years ago when he won in Voyens in fine style.
I'll tell you what, if indeed he is going to ride in Voyens in a couple of weeks, he is going to relish it. What a prospect. Michael Jepsen Jensen riding at the Voyens Speedway Centre in a couple of weeks, if indeed, as we expect him to do so.
And we're looking at Nicky Pedersen. He actually denied Nicky Pedersen the win that night. He passed him late on in the race. And he did it in quite fine style, and then went on to win the World Cup, of course, on the same year. So he's got plenty of credibility at that level, at this level. But here we go.
Andreas Jonsson off the inside, disappointing tonight, AJ. 3 points. Matti Zegar, gate 2 in blue. Christoph Kasperzak, gate 3 in white. And Nicky Pedersen going off the outside in yellow.
Yeah, an important race for Pedersen. Pulled up, of course, when he got hit by Holder and failed to score. He's got 7 points, needs more if he wants to, you know, take the opportunity with Hancock out. He needs to try and keep pushing on. Suffering with the shoulder, it's not 100%, and track conditions have worsened for him. It's quite challenging there. This is a big race for Pedersen coming from the outside.
Yep, big lineup, heat number 19 it is, and it's an even spread into that first turn, and now Zegar has the lead, but can Kasperzak go around the outside? Coming through into third is Pedersen, and Nicky Pedersen has come through into second now. The lead is with Matti Zegar. Pedersen has gone square, taken out the challenge of Kasperzak, but he comes back through now. Pedersen, he's gone down! And he's hit the fence, he's under the air fence, and the race is going to have to be stopped.
Yeah, as he ran into the first corner second time around, the foot was almost off the footrest on the right-hand side. He lost control of the bike.
That's the last thing Nicky needs with a dodgy shoulder. After a week of intensive treatment.
Absolutely, he just found himself in the wrong position there. He was very forceful going down the back straight on the opening lap. He got himself initially into second place. Kasperzak was able to then respond and get up the inside of him as they started the second lap. Good to see. Pedersen's on his feet. Good news.
That's great.
Yeah, air fence doing his job, but Pedersen clearly, it is really challenging. You're seeing it's quite choppy out there. He's running in deep there. Look, the foot has come off the footrest. He has no control of the bike and has to bail off. Fortunately, the air fence does its job.
Well, I'm just glad that he's walking away after that double dislocation of the shoulder. He's going to finish on 7 points from his 5 rides, which is extraordinary when you consider the form that he showed. He got 5 points from his first 2.
Yeah, track conditions have got harder and more challenging physically, and I think that's one of the reasons why he's found it so much more difficult later on in the night. And he's done himself proud, but in some respects, you could look at it as a missed opportunity when you know, Hancock out. He scored 18 points in Daugavpils.
He's going to miss the semi-finals the way it's looking, because you've got Troy Batchelor on 7 points in heat number 20, and you've also got Freddie Lindgren on 6 in heat number 20, and Nicky finished on 7.
Yeah, he'll be a touch fortunate to make the semi-finals this evening. He's got a race win to his name, which could help him, but yes, he's in a precarious position there without question. And as I say, I do believe he's suffered with the track conditions have got much more challenging. I'm looking down at the first corner, the exclusion light's on, that was quite clear. He runs in wide, we'll see it again. The problem he has here, the bike bottoms out on him and his right foot comes off the footrest and he's just a passenger there and just slips off the bike. Unfortunately, the air fence just absorbs all the energy. There's the problem with the right foot off the footrest. It's an awful feeling. and he loses control. But, you know, 7 points is not disastrous, but I'm sure if the track had remained smoother like it was earlier on in the night, he could have scored double figures this evening.
Well, if he doesn't make the semi-final now, that is a real opportunity missed.
Yeah,
because
agreed.
Ty Woofenden is going to stay second, and Pedersen will not close any gap on Greg Hancock either. I would say it is still not all over going to Voyens with 3 rounds to go. It's still all to race for, Kelv.
It is, and you couldn't have foreseen it. You know, when you looked at the first 3 races from Hancock,
all over,
looking like it was going to be all over. We had one hand on the trophy. We had him almost there. Was well crowned as world champion, but suddenly, inexplicably, out of nowhere, we've got an incident that puts his championship in jeopardy with a nasty hand injury. Opportunities for other riders. We could well be going down to Torren for a grandstand finish.
Well, as a neutral, we love to see the World Championship decided in the last round.
Of course, yes, and Torren is the one.
Love Greg to bits, you know. Woofy, fantastic last year. Nicky, great competitor. But from a neutral point of view, with your neutral head on, you'd love to see it decided in the last round, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would. And Torren is a fabulous venue, very similar to here. And we know there's going to be a smashing atmosphere there in October. And yeah, it could well be that we'll see the championship really concertina up. 112 for Hancock, far from disastrous. Woofenden, of course, not here. Nicky Pedersen, 93. If he doesn't ride again tonight, I wonder how he'll reflect on that. I think he may feel that that's an opportunity missed. But Holder, he's into the top 8 with Ward dropping down. And, of course, Kasperzak also has opportunities to move further up the standings.
Certainly does. We await the arrival of the remaining 3 riders for Heat 19 then. Jonsson, Zagar and Kasperzak. 3 riders up now. Andreas Jonsson. Are we seeing the end of a GP career for Andreas Jonsson?
Well, I'm sorry to say it, but I agree with that. Just not the same rider that we've seen in previous years. He's won 8 Grand Prix and has been world number 2, I think, 3 years ago. But since that time, it just hasn't been able to find the speed. It has suffered a lot of injuries, fair play, nasty incidents along the way, but for such a high-quality rider, it must be awfully depressing for him. He just cannot find the performance he needs at this level anymore.
So heat number 19 coming up. Jonsson on 3 points going into this ride. He's in the red helmet colour and really knows that he can't reach the semi-finals now here in Gorzow tonight. A meeting that was really explosive, lively, exciting. But when we see riders hurt, it just takes the wind out of your sails.
Well, quite shocking as well.
Yeah.
You know, that incident with Iverson and Hancock, yes, it was. It was one of those, again, where you sort of think, crikey, it's a stark reminder of how tough this game is.
Certainly is. Unforgiving Speedway. And heat number 19 is coming up. 3 rounds to go down in the World Championship. Voyens in Denmark, right in the heart of Speedway land in Denmark, of course. And there's a new venue there next year as well.
Horsens, isn't it?
Looking forward to it. Football stadium. What is it? 13,000 capacity there or thereabouts. So looking forward to that. Then, of course, we have Stockholm, the Friends Arena, right on the edge of the city centre in Stockholm. That's in 4 weeks' time. And then we have Torren and the purpose-built Speedway venue to round off our 2014 GP Tour. And what a season it's been once again. Lots of twists and turns, and plenty more to come, you feel. Lots of points up for grabs over the next 3 rounds after tonight. Now, here we go, heat 19. Jonsson off the inside, Zagar off 2. Kasperzak going off 3, no rider off the outside. Nicky Pedersen disqualified. I do feel that, again, the door just feels as though it's open for Kasperzak.
It has. Great opportunity for him, Nigel. He's only dropped a point this evening. If he could win here, 14 points, that's a great return without riding in the semi-finals. Superb 2 weeks ago in Daugavpils, of course, where he picked up 17 points. So clearly full of confidence now. He's getting on with that knee that's got a snapped ligament in it, but he is back right to top form.
Heat number 19, second time of asking, and Zagar's got a flyer off gate number 2. That was a fine start from Matti Zagar. Now Kasperzak trying the outside. Jonsson's got a bit of speed here, but Kasperzak holds second place now going into turn 3. The lead is with Matti Zagar. That'll be a good score for Zagar of 11 points, but Kasperzak really closing the door and challenging hard here now. Zagar from Kasperzak, from Jonsson.
Yeah, I just thought for a moment Zagar would run wide there and open the door for Kasperzak to get up the inside. Zagar, as you rightly say, make a fabulous start out of gate 2. Kasperzak's there, he's got an awful lot of speed in second place, just having to come out of the throttle. 2 home riders, of course, they know the place awfully well. Johnson now beginning to get tailed off in 3rd place. Zagar, this will do him nicely, suffering from food poisoning, not really at full strength, but he's riding brilliantly out in front.
Got a great riding style, hasn't he, Mati Zagar?
Yeah, love
Down
it.
that back straight into turns 3 and 4. The Slovenian star is going to take the checkered flag, and he will go into the semi-finals on 11 points. Kasperzak on 13. That means that Kasperzak is going to have first pick of gate positions in the semi-finals, and Johnson's night is over with just 4 points. Major disappointment for AJ. But that was great stuff from Zagar. Made it from the start and rode quite superbly there.
Yeah, he did, and he's had a super night. He's just had one poor ride where he just didn't make a very good start and just got out-battled and failed to score, but then subsequently showed great character and has come up with some great rides.
Zagar, Kasperzak, Jonsson, the finishing order. Pedersen disqualified, of course. Pedersen still in the top 8, but only just. Now Troy Batchelor only needs a point here to overhaul him. And Freddie Lindgren, a couple of points here. A 2nd place for Lindgren will overhaul Pedersen as well. So big heat number 20 coming up.
Yeah, all to race for in heat 20. A couple of riders there with the opportunities of making the top 8 and pushing Nicky Pedersen out. But initially out of gate 2, Mati Zagar's won both races. His last 2 races he's had gate 2 and he's really made it work brilliantly. He's out in front. Kasperzak slipping into 2nd place coming off the first corner. And then he sets about Zagar. Momentarily it looked like he was carrying quite a lot more speed, but just couldn't find the opportunity to pass. It looked early on in the race he might have been able to get up the inside, but all credit to the Slovenian rider. He was able to respond and got himself back to the front and won nicely. And he's enjoying a good night. He's looking good out there because conditions are not easy.
No, they're not. But Kasperzak riding brilliantly. And top of the leaderboard, 13 points now. Very impressive indeed.
Yeah, can only agree with that.
And a man who missed Tampere in Finland, round number 3. Scored 17 in Daugavpils, of course. A purple patch, that's 30 points in 2 rounds.
Fantastic.
40 when you count Cardiff, pre-World Cup. Brilliant stuff. Now, heat number 20 to round off our qualifying heats. Smolinski off the inside. Disappointing night for him. Lindgren goes off gate 2 in blue. Still in with a shout of the semi-finals. Batchelor gate 3 in white. Needs a couple of points here. And Bartosz Smarzlik off the outside in yellow. What a night for that young man.
Well, you can see him building on those 9 points here from the outside. He's made a couple of really good moves in the first corner. Wouldn't surprise me if he does it again now.
Yep, into that first turn. Smolinski's made a good one. Smarzlik now around the outside. Can he get the better of Smolinski, who closes that door? Batchelor now knows that he has to fight for it. Lindgren has to fight for it too. Batchelor trying hard to get round the outside of Smarzlik. Lindgren up the inside as well. But Smolinski is the shock leader here of heat number 20.
Oh, well, this is quite a turn up for the books. Smolinski with just 2 points to his name. Got to say that was a great start, and Batchelor and Lindgren stays there. He won't make the semi-finals, and it could be a reprieve for Nicky Pedersen. Smarzlik almost running in the back of Smolinski. How on earth did he avoid him? Just momentarily may have clipped the dirt deflector. Smarzlik up the inside, pushing for his life there up the inside of the German. Smolinski survives out in front, but for how much longer? Terrific speedway once again from the wild card.
Batchelor needs to hold on for 3rd for the semi-final. If Lindgren passes him, he could miss out here. It's going to be a win for Smolinski. And now Lindgren down to the line. Smarzlik gets 2nd, right on the line for 3rd. Now if Batchelor has held on for 3rd place, that will put him on to 8 points, and Pedersen misses out.
Right, okay, well that's a massive blow for Freddie Lindgren. Once again, when he comes up in a race where he desperately needs to pick up some points, then it's Martin Smolinski. Great effort from Smarzlik. Yep, and unfortunately for Freddie Lindgren, just can't quite get there, and it was a great effort from Martin Smolinski out in front. He's enjoying that, hasn't had too much to celebrate over the last few Grand Prix, but he won that race in fine style under an awful lot of pressure. Super ride from the German.
Smolinski, Schmarzlik, Bachelor and Lindgren. And what it means now, Bachelor pinches 8th place at the expense of Nicky Pedersen.
Yeah, good ride from Martin. He made a good start from the inside, and this time he was able to get there. Schmarzlik pushed him awfully hard midway through the race. It looked like Schmarzlik was going to get the better of the German, and we're seeing it here. It's a great start. Schmarzlik round the outside. Can't quite get there. Just gets stuck in a little bit of traffic with Smolinski slamming the door. And good ride from him. Troy Batchel and Freddie Lindgren. How often Freddie Lindgren's got to be so frustrated here, coming into a race where you would have thought he would have been able to get at least 2 points. Can't do it. Fails to score, and the Swedish rider once again won't make the semi-finals, and that's a bitter disappointment. And Batchelor there hanging on to 3rd place, but Smolinski and Schmarzlik put on quite a show out in front. Got to say that young Bartos this evening has done himself proud once again.
Certainly has. Terrific achievement, and we await the draw for the gate picks for the semi-finals here in Gorzow tonight. There's an ambulance on the home straight. It does appear as though somebody in the crowd has been taken ill. No, that's not too serious. So we just await now the gate positions then for the semi-finals.
Good stuff from Schmarzlik, Nige. He's done himself. He justified his pick once again. A local favourite, of course, but have a look at the gate stats. It's could be good interesting. Yeah, outside gates working well. Gates 1 and 2 pretty good. Gate 3 is a bit of a graveyard, but sometimes the riders ignore that. They seem to go with their gut instincts and feel where they want to start from. Zago, of course, winning 2 rides out of gate 2 in his last 2 outings. He would think he would be quite happy to get that. Gate 4 gives you that extra opportunity to make that move to the inside if you haven't quite got there. It gives you a second chance in lots of respects. Bit of a lull now while we just wait for riders to gather themselves and get themselves ready for the gate picks for the all-important semi-finals.
Yep, and we await the pick then, but as we say, right now there is the ambulance down on the home straight here in Gorzow. I should report that. Does appear as though somebody in the crowd has been taken ill here, so let's hope that that's nothing too serious. So it's been a dramatic night.
Well, just took the words out of my mouth. It's been quite a dramatic night. The Speedway hasn't been sensational, but there's been plenty to talk about.
There's been some good racing, though.
Yeah, there's been some good racing.
Yeah.
I don't think track conditions are as good as they could be. I think that has possibly just detracted from the racing a wee bit, Nige, but nonetheless, we've got a bit of a, as it's building up to the all-important semi-finals, then we're going to get some good stuff to conclude the meeting. Still waiting for riders to get themselves ready for the picks.
Just a reminder, by the way, Kelv, that Greg Hancock will be in the semi-final lineup, although he won't be able to ride. It does mean that he will be in the semi-final lineup, Greg Hancock. But obviously, it's a case of naming him in the lineup because I guess on merit, Kelv, it's not fair that somebody who hasn't scored enough points moves up a level and gets into the semi-final. So that's not going to happen, and he's not going to be replaced by a reserve either. So we are going to face one race with 3 riders only. And there's confirmation. Top 8 clear-cut here, Kelv, no doubt about it.
Yeah, they are, and Nicky Pedersen, they're just missing out with Batchelor hanging on to that vital point in his last ride. Holder's scrapped really hard. Obviously, he was the beneficiary of Hampel packing up, and that heat win for him has done him no harm at all. He's looking like he's pushing his way into the top 8 this evening and securing his Grand Prix future, and he'll be chuffed to bits with that. And Kenneth Pierre, I've got to have a bit of a shout out for him. He's done himself proud this evening as well after a difficult campaign. Still a lot of racing points, Grand Prix points available. And, with the way it's working out, with all these riders, with suspensions and injuries, then for riders, further down the table, they still could give themselves an outside chance of securing their future.
Well, there we see it now. The top 3 will not ride in the semi-finals. Christoph Kasperzak has 6 more points available to him. Huge opportunity
Wow.
for KK.
That is quite a turnaround. Kasperzak will get the first pick. He's dropped just 2 points this evening. Worked well. Smarslik there. Bier, of course. Here we go. Kasperzak. Gate 4 on the gate stats. Gate wins has been the favourite gate. He's ignored that. He's gone for gate 2, which has had 5 race wins. Fancies that. Smarslik has been outstanding once again as a home rider. He's coming up. Interesting to see. No hesitation from him. He goes for the outside. So Smarslik happy to take gate 4. Bier now coming up. He's had a couple of race wins this evening and has ridden well without having any practice. He goes for the inside gate. Kenneth Bier, can he make a final this evening? And Chris Holder, he comes out of gate 3, and gate 3 is the worst gate so far this evening. Can he defy the odds there? But decent lineup for semi-final number 1.
So Bier, Kasperzak, Holder and Smarslik. The lineup for the first semi-final. And we now await the riders for the second semi.
Well, Michael Jepsen Jensen has been a pleasant surprise this evening. He'll be chuffed as bits. He's been struggling over the last 18 months, but he immediately, without hesitation, takes gate 4. Zagar, not at full peak fitness, suffering with a bit of food poisoning. He's won 2 races from gate 2 already this evening, so he's happy to have that again. I think he's probably quite happy. Troy Batchelor, another semi-final for him. He's ridden hard this evening. Gate 1 for him. That's probably the smart move. And then that would leave Greg Hancock, of course, coming out of gate 3, but he won't be coming out of gate 3 because he's in hospital.
He is indeed. He's on his way to hospital with that suspected dislocation of the knuckle, and we wish him all the very best, of course. And we'll bring more news on that as and when we get it. And Niels Christian Iversen as well, of course, with that injury too. So the semi-final lineup, heat number 21 will be Kenneth Bier, Christoph Kasperzak, Chris Holder and Bartosz Smarslik. And heat number 22, the second semi-final, Troy Batchelor, Matti Zagar, Greg Hancock, who as a formality has to be named, in white, and Michael Jepsen Jensen in yellow. And by the way, just for the record books, it has to go down as an exclusion for Greg Hancock for, I can only assume, exceeding the 2-minute time allowance. Because he's at hospital and can't really make it in 2 minutes to the start line. Anyway, that's just one for the record books and the statisticians. I'm sure it'll all come out in the wash, but more importantly, let's hope that Greg's going to be okay. So they're the semi-final lineups. Christoph Kasperzak has been fantastic tonight, and 13 points for him on the back of his 17 in Daugavpils, 10 in Cardiff. So he's now got, 40 points from the 3 GPs. It really is a sensational run of form from Christoph Kasperzak. And, well, you can only wonder what might have been had he not missed the third round in Tampere when he led the World Championship and had the knee ligament damage. And
yeah, that was unfortunate for him because he was, in a healthy position in the World Championship at that stage. And clearly desperately disappointed to miss out, and it also knocked his confidence, and it's taken some time for him to regain that, but regaining he has, and now all of a sudden he's looking like he could get himself into the top 3 in the world.
Bartosz Smarslik, the baby-faced assassin in yellow. What a performance from this young man. And you did say at the start of the night, Smarslik would be worth watching tonight, Kel.
Yeah, because he knows this track so well, and he's clearly very confident here. He's got his home team around, and his father's with him in the paddock. And, he rides so nicely here. You can, even with this huge audience, he's mentioned in his interviews with Chris Louis that, he's felt the pressure and a little bit of a stress this evening, but his riding has belied that. He has been totally focused and has ridden really nicely, as has Kenneth Bier. He's done himself proud again this evening. That's good to see, because it's tough if you're not doing well in the Grand Prix. It's really tough.
We watch a lot of British League, Kelv, and I don't know about you, where we live in the UK, I'd love to see Smarslik ride for a club in Great Britain, because you know he's coming to your local track. You'd pay good money to go and watch him, wouldn't you?
Yeah, he's an exciting rider, eye-catching rider, and you're right, he just had that brief spell with Birmingham. But yes, he would be a great addition to the Elite League in Britain.
So here is the first semi-final, and Christoph Kasperzak, the man in blue here, looking to close that gap significantly on the top three, who will take no further part tonight. Hancock 112, Woofenden 98, and Nicky Pedersen 93. Niels Christian Iversen as well, of course, has added to his total tonight with 6 points, so he's on 87. And Christoph Kasperzak now on 89. Here we go, first semi-final on the way. First semi-final, we do know that the top two will remain unchanged at the end of tonight. Hancock will lead the World Championship, Woofenden will be second. Now it's all about whether the man off gate 2 in blue, Christoph Kasperzak, can pinch third place from Nicky Pedersen. Kenneth Pierre off the inside then, Kasperzak off 2, Holter going off 3, and Smarslik going off the outside. The young man, Smarslik, great to watch.
Indeed he is, he's been terrific so far this evening, has been in great form. Kasperzak just dropped a couple of points, big pressure on, Pierre on the inside, Holder has scrapped really hard for his 9 points.
And Kasperzak's made a good start off gate number 2. Watch out for Smarslik round the outside, down the back straight they go! This crowd has gone crazy in the Edward Janssart Stadium. It's Bartosz Smarslik with the lead. Christoph Kasperzak is second, Kenneth Pierre third, and Chris Holder at the back. And right now, it's a Polish 1-2.
Fabulous first lap there from Bartosz, and you've got to say that Smarslik once again the wild card doing the business out in front. Kasperzak in second place, Pierre in the third, but Holder there just having a hard time back and back. Oh, Kasperzak runs wide in turns 1 and 2. He's under threat now from Kenneth Pierre. Smarslik flying out in front. Pierre's not out of it yet. Kasperzak's got to remain focused. There's just under a lap to go. The wild card, the local man, looking good for the final.
Great stuff here from Smarslik, and this Gorzow crowd are going crazy. 15,000 Speedway mad supporters, and Smarslik shakes his head with disbelief. He can't believe it. He's into the final again here in Gorzow. He's won his semi-final in sensational style. What a moment for the youngster, Bartosz Smarslik.
Fabulous ride from Bartosz Smarslik. Got to give him an awful lot of credit. Track conditions far from ideal. Don't think he encounters this normally in an Elite League match or an Extra League match, but by golly, he has done the business here this evening. Superb out in front, lowering the colours once again of Kasperzak, who also makes the final. The Poles are delighted. They've already got 50% of the final here this evening. But Bartosz Smarslik, a real star this evening.
Smarslik from Kasperzak, they are into the final. Pierre and Holder in third and fourth. Kasperzak now closes that gap even more on Nicky Pedersen for third place. Kasperzak and Smarslik at the top of the standings now. What a win for that young man.
Wow, Kenny.
Really is great to watch.
Well, we were talking about Kasperzak being the winner. Couldn't see somebody else doing it, but by golly, this man here coming from the outside, inspired this evening, loves this place and is really focused, and has had another superb action here in the semi-final. Down the back straight for the first time. He gets the better of KK, his team cheering him on, delighted to see it. Kasperzak struggling later on in the race, just losing momentum and giving Pierre a little bit of encouragement. Maybe he could have made second place and got himself in the final, but that man comfortably through. Really was dominant here, and if he can reproduce something like that coming from the outside in the final, then it could very well be his night. He managed to get third place 2 years ago here. Could it be the top spot this evening? Brilliant stuff from him.
Great enthusiasm, fearless as well. Kasperzak's happy as well. Really
Wow,
yeah, been a big game for him tonight.
15 points, all of a sudden he's in a medal position, Nige, and a bit of work going on in the pits, but got to say that it's been a really good night already for Kasperzak in the championship concerns.
He's on 91, Nicky is on 93 in third, so a second place in the final for Kasperzak. He'll be level with Nicky for third, and if he wins the final, he will be in third place outright in the World Championship with 3 rounds to go. Right, so here we have Troy Batchelor off gate number 1, Matty Zagar gate 2. Greg Hancock has to be named here, technically in white, although he won't take his place through injury, of course. And Michael Jepsen Jensen goes off the outside in yellow.
Yeah, great opportunity for Jepsen Jensen, a Grand Prix winner, of course, previously. Batchelor on the inside. Here we go.
Zagar's made a good one off gate 2, and now Jepsen Jensen is going to try the outside line, round the outside of Batchelor. It's Zagar who has the lead. And for a man who's suffering from food poisoning and is feeling pretty weak, he's not doing a bad job here, is he? Zagar from Jepsen Jensen, from Batchelor in third, but Matty Zagar, a Gorzow favourite, is kicking on here.
Zagar now has won his the previous 2 races, coming out of gate 2, and in the second semi-final, gate 2 has worked a treat once again. Zagar flying out in front, looks like he's got it all wrapped up, bearing mechanical failure. Jepsen Jensen into second place, coming off the first corner, and is now beginning to get a little bit of a cushion between him and himself and Batchelor. Zagar out in front, a lap to go. He looks like he's in the final. Jepsen Jensen, the Danish rider, looking good to join him.
Yep, very much so. Matty Zagar on his way to his 10th SGP final. What a performance from the man from Slovenia. Matty Zagar takes the checkered flag. Right here for Gorzow, right at Bellevue in Manchester. He'll be back in Manchester on Monday for the Aces against Coventry. Jepsen Jensen second there, and Jepsen Jensen through to another Grand Prix final. Full credit to that young man. His second GP final. He's got a 100% record in GP finals.
Not
he's
too
won
bad,
his only
that,
one.
is he? Super ride from Zagar. He was out in front, gate 2, working a treat for him. He's had 3 consecutive wins from that gating position. Wins the second semi-final in fine style.
Zagar from Jepsen Jensen, Batchelor third, and Hancock, of course, did not ride. So here we go. It means that Zagar's on 14, Jepsen Jensen on 14, and our finalists are Schmarslik, Kasperzak, Zagar, and Jepsen Jensen.
Well, Zagar's enjoying a superb night at Speedway, and I've got to say, having won a Grand Prix earlier on this season.
He'd love to do that, Kel.
He did indeed, yeah, this season in Finland when Ty Woofenden had it look like he had it in his back pocket. Got to say that Zagar really has turned it on in style. Just one blip tonight. First corner, second semi-final, coming out of gate 2, Zagar makes it stick, and he's got a lot of speed out in front. Jepsen Jensen comes under a lot of pressure from Troy Batchelor, who, again, I've got to say, has worked really hard and battled well for his points this evening, and doing himself justice in the Grand Prix series later on. Zagar out in front, track conditions a bit choppy, but he's hanging on to that bike, finding some extra strength from somewhere, because he hasn't enjoyed the best of nights last night, having suffered from food poisoning. But yeah, through to the final, pleased with that. Can he find one big effort? 3 consecutive wins out of gate 2. It's worked a treat for him.
Certainly has. Well, it's one of those GPs where the boys have really worked hard. Every single rider has worked hard out there. Our thoughts very much with Niels and Greg, the 2 injured boys. Niels with a suspected knee injury and Greg Hancock with a hand injury. The Mexican wave all around the Edward Jansard Stadium.
Well, the Polish crowd will be excited about the final, of course. They've got 2 home riders in it, not just from the country, but from this club as well. So they'll be very excited about the prospects for the final this evening. They'll be really keen. They do love their speedway in this part of the world. They really are enthusiastic. And particularly this town, there's a statue of Edward Jansash in the town. The speedway bike there. And when you go in the shopping mall just opposite our hotel, they're showing replays of the league matches on the screens in the shopping mall. It really is a place where speedway is held very dear in the hearts of the public. And a great enthusiasm and a really good turnout and a great atmosphere here this evening. It's been good to be here.
Yeah, very much so. Aside from the crash that we saw where the boys were hurt there, Niels and Greg, where it really did take everybody's wind out of the sails, I think. There has been some good racing, and the permutations about the points, the progressive scores, the overall standings as well. It's just added to the... And really, it sets it up nicely for Voyens in a couple of weeks.
It has, yeah. It's sort of turned on its head. Riders now ready for the final, and they're going to take their pick. He's got to go for gate 2. Yeah, no surprise there. Zagar having won the previous 3 races from gate 2. Smalslick will go gate 4. Could it be his night?
What a fairy tale that would be.
That would be quite a fabulous finish. Kasperzak now, gate 1, I would think. That would be my pick, gate 1, but he's not clear in his mind. Taking his time, yeah, gate 1. And KK off 1. And Jepsen Jensen, gate 3. He's enjoyed a good evening. Nice to see such a highly talented rider coming back to top form. 2 years ago, he burst on the international scene and won a Grand Prix and won the World Cup, and then had a quiet year last year. But now, back end of this season, what an opportunity he's got. Could really make his mark on the Grand Prix stage in the second half of the year.
Yep. Quite a lineup for the final then. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it will be quite a story if Smarslick could win, Nigel. It would be a grandstand finish, of course, for the public here. I thought that maybe they could have considered Piotr Pawlicki for a wild card. He leads the Under-21 World Championship and would have had a good argument to be the wild card here this evening, but they've gone with the local boy, Smarslick, and as I said earlier on, he's fully justified the decision for him to be here because he's in the final.
Great song over the tannoy. They're doing the twist. Well, there's a few more twists and turns ahead in this GP with 4 thrilling laps to come, I'm sure. Kelvin showing that the dodgy hip doesn't hamper him from busting a few moves in the commentary box alongside me. And the crowd really enjoying it as well. There's a real party atmosphere here, Kelv.
There is, and it's good to see such a turnout at Bydgoszcz earlier this year. It was a poor turnout, but here it's at least 2/3 full, possibly more than that. And they've come to enjoy themselves, and enjoy themselves they have. And despite the incident earlier on with Iversen and Hancock, with 2 home riders and home club riders in the final, the public are on the edge of their seats to see if they can get a winner here this evening.
Yeah, well, let's hope the boys are going to be okay. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, me too. That was a nasty incident, and you know, Hancock is such a highly respected rider. He's been injury-free throughout the majority of his career, and you could just see the look on his face when he was sat on the step of the ambulance that he was in some discomfort.
Well, he knew he was in trouble, didn't he?
Yeah.
He walked away from the incident pretty quickly to get back to the pits, and then I think, you know, it's one of those delayed shock, maybe.
It is. It happens. You know, you initially the adrenaline is rushing around your body, and you actually get yourself away from the incidents, and you're desperately feeling that you don't want it to be a major problem, but the realization soon kicks in when, you know, you look down at your hand and it's not in the right, you know, fingers and not quite in the right place. So, yeah, tough for Greg, and I'm sure they'll be keeping their fingers crossed that there isn't a break and it's just a dislocation, because if it's just a dislocation, it could well be that he can ride in 2 weeks' time.
Let's hope so, and let's hope Ty Woffenden can ride. Let's hope Niels Christian Iversen can ride as well in a couple of weeks' time. We want to see all the boys in action, doing their stuff that they do best. Riding their speedway bikes and entertaining us all. Here's the incident that really put a shadow over this whole meeting.
Well, this is where you see Greg's he's come off the throttle, he's trying to get out of his way and he can't.
Oh.
But you can clearly see that his arm gets sucked in on the back wheel of Niels Christian Iversen, and with the position of the rear mudguards now that are so low down onto the tyre, that's almost made the incident and the injury possibly worse. Iversen out of control completely coming off of turn 2, and that was really quite a nasty incident with bikes and bodies all tangled up together.
But this is where I was concerned about his arm, Kelv, because I mean, with Niels, of course, is a concern as well. But here we see Greg. Yes, his hand is trapped, but now the bike falls. Now he falls. His arm may well be twisted there, and that's what I was concerned about with the arm.
Yeah, I can see, you understand your concerns, but I think what happens in that incident is that the fingers and the hand get sucked into the spokes of the wheel on the inside of the wheel, and that's quite likely where the damage has happened. Niels Christian Iversen twisting his knee quite violently in that incident as well, so possible ligament damage there as well. Fingers crossed that it isn't too serious and that he can make a speedy recovery. But now, focus on the final, Nigel. A great opportunity. KK Kasperzak, winner 2 weeks ago in Daugavpils, has ridden very well this evening to get himself to the final. And a great opportunity for him to surge up the table. 2 rounds ago, I suggest he wouldn't have fancied his chances to get to this position, but 2 very strong performances. And he's in with a really good chance of a medal right now. So yeah, Kasperzak has done himself a whole load of good with his race in Gorzow this evening.
Yep, looking forward to it. The grand final is upon us. Michael Jepsen Jensen making his last-minute preparations. Now, Christoph Kasperzak, if he wins this race, he will go into Boyens in 3rd place in the World Championship.
And that's a fantastic turnaround, because just a couple of Grand Prix ago, he was languishing down just in the top 8. And now with 2 such strong performances, 17 points last time, he's got 15 points already this evening. Christoph Kasperzak is a man in top form and looking like he wants to go for back-to-back victories.
Here we go with the lineup for the grand final in the Gorzow FIM Speedway Grand Prix of Poland, and what a night it's been. Kasperzak going off the inside in red, a win, and he goes 3rd in the world. Matti Zagar gate 2 in blue, Michael Jepsen Jensen gate 3, Bartosz Marslik off the outside. We remind you, Jepsen Jensen here, a stand-in rider. He is in, of course, for the suspended Darcy Ward, and Bartosz Marslik is a wild card. So 2 of the 4 finalists are not permanent GP riders.
Yeah, all credit to them. They have less pressure, of course, but they've still performed extremely well. They've all got 14 points amongst them. But Kasperzak on the inside, can he make it work now?
Here we go, Kasperzak's made a good one, Marslik now! Oh, and Jepsen Jensen's gone down! And he's staying down as well. The red light is going to have to come on, and we're going to have to do it all again. And Jepsen Jensen has stayed down in that first turn.
Now, what's the referee going to do here? Is he going to exclude him? Be interesting to see exactly what happened there. Was focusing on Smarslik initially, and then Jepsen Jensen coming out of gate 3 gets it wrong. We'll see it again. Tapes up.
I think he's gone down on his own.
Kasperzak on the inside. Smarslik comes across from the outside. There is just a little bit of contact with Smarslik coming across from the outside. He clips his front wheel. Whether that has been sufficient for him to then lose control of the bike and then go down, we'll be able to see from this angle. Coming across here, there is contact, no question. Referee could put all 4 back.
He could call it an unsatisfactory start and put all 4 back in.
Definitely unsettled him on the run to the first corner. A Danish referee having to make a big decision on a Danish rider. No surprise, no surprise. And
do you agree with that decision, Kel?
I do. Although there is the connection between the Danish referee and the Danish rider, when you see that Smarslik comes across very hard, unsettles with the contact, and Jepsen Jensen loses control.
I suppose you want him on 2 minutes now, don't you? Get on with it, boys.
Come on. No need to keep us hanging around any longer than we need to be. No, he's come off the bike, so yeah, there's going to be some work needed to the equipment, so there needs to be a small delay. They need to, the clutch could be full of dirt and the chains may need readjusting, so yeah, second chance for Smarslik. They got the primary chain off, no surprise there. The front chain quite often fills up with shale, and that then needs to be cleaned out so they get the right adjustment on that. You don't want that too tight, otherwise it will impede on the engine's performance.
It just adds to the drama here in Gorzow tonight. We've had a bit of everything, haven't we, really?
We have, and Jepsen Jensen, who's enjoyed a really good night, he will be relieved that he's got an opportunity for a second chance, but I do believe the referee has made the right call.
Matti Zagar in the next pit bay to him. Packed house here in the Edward Jansard Stadium tonight. Our more senior viewers in the UK will remember Eddie Jansard from his Wimbledon Dons days at Plough Lane. And as you said earlier, Kel, the statue of Edward Jansard right in the centre of town here in Gorzow. There is a speedway mad area.
It is, yeah. They love their speedway here. Zagar will be disappointed because he hit the front coming out of turn 2 on that opening lap. And Zagar, although he's feeling a bit second-hand here this evening, is certainly riding out of the top draw. A little bit of adjustment to the ignition timing on Krzysztof Kasperzak's bike. When you move that rotor around, you can advance and retard the ignition timing.
I knew that.
To a degree, yeah, I know you. Well, you know, that goes without saying, nice, doesn't it? Here we see the incident again. Jepsen Jensen just slipping off the bike. It just unsettles the front wheel. He's missed the start, but Smarslik's come across really hard there. It's just unsettled him, and the bike's got away from him. And I see it again. I don't change my mind. I do think it's the right decision to put all 4 back.
So the race director, Tony Olsen, now has to use his discretion to allow extra time for this restart. And Smarslik will be desperate to get the win under his belt. Zagar trying to get some energy with that food poisoning, of course, that has caused him such drama over the last 24 hours.
Well, Zagar was 6th place coming into this evening's Grand Prix, and he's ridden well early on in the season, but then has had 1 or 2 disappointing Grand Prix where he hasn't quite lived up. I thought when he'd won in Finland he would really kick on and become a little bit more of a force and maybe challenge for a medal this year, but he's had a bit of a downturn. Copenhagen and certainly also in Cardiff weren't quite as good as he would have liked, and Latvia was okay with 9 points, but tonight he's turned on the style and is looking like a potential winner. Kasperzak was a favourite for many people. His odds were as short as 3-1 for this meeting to make it back-to-back Grand Prix wins, and still can do it, of course. Would love to do it, and he's given himself a really good chance of being a contender for the World Championship. Out of nowhere, he has turned his season around. Zagar again.
Well, a 2-minute clock is on now.
Good news.
So Tony Olsen is satisfied that he has allowed enough time for the riders to prepare for the restart here. So it is the grand final in this magnificent arena here in Gorzow. Bartosz Smarslik made a great start to the original staging of that race, and he's got to do it all over again. Zagar superb as well. This is Matti Zagar's 50th GP tonight and his 10th final. Michael Jepsen Jensen in his 6th Grand Prix appearance, Kasperzak's 37th, and we know that it's Bartosz Smarslik's 3rd, all as a wild card, of course. And it's this time of year where we inevitably start speculating as to who may or may not be in the Grand Prix series next year. Top 8 automatically qualify. 4 picks for the organisers, 3 qualifiers from the challenge in Lonigo. And Michael Jepsen Jensen has once again thrown himself right into the centre of attention when it comes to Grand Prix Speedway tonight. Fantastic performance from him. So here we go, restart. Krzysztof Kasperzak going off the inside. Matti Zagar goes off gate 2. Michael Jepsen Jensen off gate 3 in white, and Bartosz Smarslik off the outside in yellow. Which way is it going to go this time? It's going to be tense on the start line.
It is, and rightly so. It's for the big prize to win the Grand Prix. Valuable World Championship points on the line. Reputations to be, set. Jepsen Jensen really rediscovering the form that we saw 2 years ago. Can he get on the rostrum? Could he possibly win? But that man there on the inside, Kasperzak, has enjoyed a really good night at Speedway so far. Second time of asking. Here we go with the final.
Green light is on, and away from the start. Smarslik has made a dream start. Kasperzak's holding the inside. Coming through is Zagar. What a rider now, Smarslik! Whoa! What a ride down the back straight from the youngster. Bartosz Smarslik has got the lead. Kasperzak charging hard for second place. Zagar's there. Jepsen Jensen still in the mix. But Bartosz Smarslik, the wild card, holds the lead. Here comes Kasperzak on the inside. Zagar's going to try the return switch. This is one heck of a speedway race.
Whoa, fabulous speedway. Smarslik sensational around the first corner and down the back straight. Sensational action between Kasperzak and Zagar. Zagar now steps his authority on second place. Smarslik, the wild card, out in front. riding an absolute storm, and Zagar somehow finding the reserves of energy to really push on in second place. Kasperzak now under pressure from Jensen, but Smarslik out in front. Can he win his first Grand Prix?
Yes, he can! Bartosz Smarslik! Wow! What a ride! What a story! In his own backyard! Bartosz Smarslik has pulled off one of the fairy tales of Speedway Grand Prix history here in Gorzow. He can't believe it. The fans can't believe it. His pit crew can't believe it. And you can be sure the celebrations are going to go long into the night here in Gorzow.
What a ride from Bartosz Smarslik, the wildcard this evening. Fantastic composure from the youngster. He came charging across from the outside. Great action behind him between Kasperzak and Zagar. They swapped second place near enough every corner there for a couple of laps. Terrific action. Congratulations all round for Bartosz Smarslik. He has done himself no harm at all here this evening. What a victory for the homeboy. Zagar back to top form. Great ride from him in second place. Jepsen Jensen's done nicely. He's made the final, picked up a whole handful of points. But the night belongs to Bartosz Smarslik. The homeboy, ridden an absolute stormer in the final. Brilliant stuff from him.
Well, he can't get his bike started now.
Well, it was running at the important time. It was running as he came out of that last corner and he saw the checkered flag. That is quite an outstanding performance from a youngster. As a wildcarder, they can't get it going. He was riding it that hard, he's run out of fuel. They still can't get it going, but he's just hugging the bike.
Well, he needs to get to the rostrum. I know he's probably not used to it. He's just going to stand and take the adulation of the fans.
Well, you say he's not used to it. 2 years ago, he made the rostrum, didn't he? He was third here. This time around, he's on top of the box. Congratulations to Bartosz Smarslik.
What a story and what a race. Smarslik the winner, Zagar second, Kasperzak third. Michael Jepsen Jensen has done himself proud tonight by getting through to the final. Congratulations to Bartosz Smarslik. Matty Zagar on 16 with Krzysztof Kasperzak. What a race that final was as well, Kel.
Best race of the night, Nigel. Real fireworks going on for second and third. Kasperzak throwing everything at Zagar to get into second place momentarily, but fair play to the Slovenian. He got back there and has enjoyed a really good ride in second place. But as I just said a couple of moments ago, the night belongs to Bartosz Smarslik and his team. He's ridden supremely. They will see it again. The tapes are up. Second time of asking, of course. He's coming from the outside. He loves it from there. The bike has done him proud there. Come charging across from the outside. Zagar on the inside, but cannot resist that move from the youngster down the back straight on the opening lap. Great action between Zagar and Kasperzak throughout the 4 laps. Kasperzak really turning on the style here to make Zagar have to work awfully hard. Through into second place, can't hold the line. Zagar then chops back to the inside as well. Really good speedway for second and third, but Bartosz Smarslik showing fantastic composure. I bet his heart rate was through the roof at this stage. Really enjoying it. Can't believe he's won on the night. Best night of speedway in his short career, that's for sure. Superb stuff.
Yep, well, he's got to... he's just saying thank you to the bike, giving the bike a big cuddle. Well, the bike did well, but you didn't do too bad yourself, Bartosz. Here's Chris Louis now.
Winner of the 2014 Gorzow FIM Speedway Grand Prix, Bartosz Smarslik. Bartosz, he's soaking up the atmosphere. It doesn't get any better than this.
Yes. Jestem w Polsce, będę mówił po polsku. Dziękuję wam wszystkim. To jest niemożliwe. Ja nawet o tym nie śniłem. Dziękuję wam wszystkim tutaj zgromadzonym. Dziękuję.
Bartosz, in front of your home fans, in front of the Polish fans, the Gorzow fans, in English, how great is this? How are you feeling?
Yes, thank you. Nie będę więcej po moim wspaniałym angielskim mówił.
I don't think we're going to get that in English, but I'm sure he's very, very happy.
Well, rightly so, he's happy. That was some performance in the final up against quality opposition. He absolutely stormed home to victory and beside himself with delight.
So, after 9 rounds, this is how it stands. It's Greg Hancock 112, Ty Woffenden stays second on 98, Nicky Pedersen 93, Christoph Kasperzak 92, Zagar 91 now as well. And the race still very much on for the top 8. Darcy Ward didn't ride tonight, of course. And now here we go. They're going to raise the roof here when this young man is presented as the winner. Listen to this.
Great scenes that he will remember forever. He's overcome with emotion, and you can understand it because this is a great Speedway nation. Poland, they really do hold Speedway close to their hearts in this part of the world. And for a youngster from just round the corner, this really is quite an achievement.
He can hardly believe it, Bartosz Marslik. Can't believe he's done it. Great to see. What a crowd.
Fabulous reaction, overcome with emotion. These are special times for this young man. What a sort of future he's got in the sport, time will tell. But tonight, he's on top of the box and on top of the world in his respect. Fabulous performance. Really was terrific. Second time of asking nights, he still came up with a brilliant start. And had speed out in front, up against top quality opposition. Terrific.
Yeah, great to see. And Christoph Kasperzak, a magnificent night's work from him. Matti Zagar, we remind you, the runner-up tonight, suffering with food poisoning by his own admission.
Just one bad ride from Zagar this evening, but a really good performance from Zagar. He could be rightly proud of that. And Kasperzak, I'm sure he would have loved to have won this evening, but he's third this evening and he's given himself a really good chance at the top 3 in the world finish with 3 rounds to go. Zagar there just taking the plaudits of the crowd. A home rider, of course. 3 home riders on the rostrum. What a result for the club here. That really is quite fantastic, isn't it? 5 riders from the home club in the meeting and 3 on the rostrum.
Not bad.
Fantastic.
That'll start all the cynics and the keyboard warriors saying, it's only because it's his own track, but come on.
You worried?
Nah, he's a great rider, isn't he?
Well, he is, and you've still got to do it, Nigel.
Yeah.
In some respects, it gives you extra pressure in the final.
Yeah.
When you're riding in front of your home audience, and all credit to him, he's done the business here this evening.
Great moment for Bartosz Marslik here.
Here we go, champagne time. He hasn't got any goggles there. He may live to regret that. Shows a little bit of naivety on.
You can tell Christoph Kasperzak's used to life on the rostrum. He's got his goggles on.
He's got his goggles there. Schmalzlich is going to have champagne in his eyes in a minute. He won't be able to see anything. But I don't think he's going to be too concerned about that.
Is he old? Is he old enough?
Not
Need
sure.
some ID, don't we?
He certainly doesn't sound old enough, does he?
Brilliant.
Yeah, he's brilliant. When you consider how many good youngsters Poland's got, they really are in a very strong position for the future. They've got some very talented youngsters coming through, and we've seen one this evening. The Pawlicki brothers, Janowski, of course. They really are in a great position for the future.
Spectacular pictures for the press. Really is a great shot. Fantastic stadium. I'm delighted to be here for the GP once again here tonight. Once again, I think it's only right, before we go, that we wish Niels Christian Iversen and Greg Hancock all the very best. Hopefully nothing too serious there, Kelv.
No, I do fear a little bit for their health because it was a very nasty incident, but yes, I do hope they can make speedy recoveries because they'll be missed from the Grand Prix if they can't take their place in the lineup in 2 weeks' time.
And before we go, Kelv, It's got to be said that this just leaves it all wide open for 2 weeks' time in Vojens, Denmark.
I agree. It's still not been disastrous for Greg Hancock. He's still got a healthy lead in the championship, so if he's fit for 2 weeks' time, he could still do it.
And not disastrous for Ty Woofenden either.
No, absolutely not. So, again, I'm sure both those boys will be working overtime to make sure that they can take their places in Vojens. But yes, it's concertinaed the championship chase nicely, so it could get very tense as we make our way towards Torren in October.
From Greg's point of view, you've got to hope that it's just a dislocation and not a break.
Absolutely, because once the swelling goes down, I'm sure he'll be able to hang on to the handlebars.
Kelvin, great to see you. I'll see you in Vojens in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Hope you've enjoyed our coverage tonight. Round 9 of the FIM Speedway World Championship went to the Edward Jansart Stadium in Gorzow, Poland. No Ty Woofenden, the reigning world champion, withdrew 24 hours earlier after a practice session when it became obvious that his hand injury sustained a week before was all too much. Bartosz Marslik was the wild card, and once again, the young man really made his track his own. He's a regular in Gorzow in the Polish League, and he was spectacular, and he had the backing of a fantastic crowd. Superb speedway all the way. Greg Hancock, who led the World Championship before the meeting, built on his lead with 3 straight wins. Stunning stuff from the twice world champion. But for the likes of Nicky Pedersen, still work to do. Krzysztof Kasperzak riding quite beautifully, and he was fast, as always, around the Gorzow track. Jarek Hampel was a surprise with 5 last places, a miserable evening for him, but Michael Jepsen-Jensen coming in as a replacement here for the suspended Darcy Ward went all the way through to the final. A fantastic night's work from the talented Dane. Niels Christian Iversen and Greg Hancock riding well, but there was drama in the meeting when Niels Christian Iversen suffered problems down the back straight, and although Greg looked unstoppable, it all came grinding to a halt with a nasty crash. Hancock's left arm trapped in the back of the bike, Iversen with a suspected knee injury, and Greg Hancock with a suspected dislocated knuckle and his left hand. It cast a shadow over the meeting, but as it progressed, Bartosz Marslik came into his own, Marty Zagar, also a Gorzow rider, looking superb, and Kasperzak simply stunning. Semi-finals, Marslik shook his head in disbelief as he went straight through to the final with a fantastic ride. Jepsen-Jensen and Zagar looking good in the second semi-final to go through. And in the final, fairy tale stuff, as the local boy Bartosz Marslik took the win.